Chapter 1241 Journey in Black Heaven. Zhao Lianyun stood at the top of the Immortal Gu house, wind-sweeping building, looking outside. Only to see that Black Heaven was covered in darkness, a dark veil was shrouding the surroundings. But there was light. Small specks of blurry lights appeared in Zhao Lianyun's vision, they seemed far away. Black Heaven was huge, or rather, the immemorial 9 heavens were all huge, every layer of the heavens would have the collective size of the 5 regions. But because of Ren Zhu and his 10 children, only Black Heaven and White Heaven were left now. We finally got past the heavenly wind chi wall and entered Black Heaven. This is Black Heaven. It seems peaceful. The surrounding GU immortals started conversing. There were more people on this floor than Zhao Lianyun and Bu Zhenzi. We entered Black Heaven, Wei Lingyang transmitted to the other 2 rank 8 GU immortals. Right now, the 3 immortal GU houses changed their positions again. Edge-Length Camp was at the lead, flying in front, while Canary Pavilion and Wind-Sweeping Building were at its sides respectively, slightly towards the back. The other rank 6 and 7 GU immortals have never entered Black Heaven before, they did not know the dangers. Wei Lingyang, Myriad Tidal Dragon and Bai Chen Tian were very clear about them. The immemorial 9 heavens were usually places only rank 8 GU immortals could enter and explore for resources. There were special rank 7 GU immortals like Feng Zhuzhe and Chudu, they could enter but at a high risk. Regardless of anything else, after entering Black Heaven, the 3 immortal GU houses became much slower. Furthermore, the immortal GU houses no longer shined brightly, they were gray and dusty, like 3 lifeless rocks. The surrounding GU immortals' discussions came to a stop. The entirety of this floor in Wind-Sweeping Building went into silence. It was completely silent. The first impression that Black Heaven gave to Zhao Lianyun was that it was really huge. It seems that we were quite lucky. Bai Chen Tian said. We should remain careful, the journey has just started. Myriad Tidal Dragon kept up his vigilance. Wei Lingyang suddenly said, careful, there is a beast group ahead. The 3 immortal GU houses went even slower now, even with such a strong lineup, the 3 rank 8 GU immortals were careful and moved with vigilance. Loud sounds soon entered Zhao Lianyun's ears. What are those things? It seems like a group of boars. Many GU immortals leaned on the windows, looking outside. Soon, the immortals gasped in succession. With the power of the immortal GU houses, the GU immortals could see past the dark veil, noting that a large group of boars were below them. Pigs were flying in the sky, was it quite funny? No, the GU immortals had different feelings. They were all shocked. These are astral wind flying heavenly boars, my goodness, there are so many. It is hard to imagine that each astral wind flying heavenly boar is an ancient desolate beast that has rank 7 GU immortal battle strength. It is rare to see one in the 5 regions, but here there are hundreds. Thankfully, desolate beasts have low intelligence, they do not have the intelligence of humans. The GU immortals felt gladness amidst their shock. These astral wind flying heavenly boars were snorting loudly as they flew in the sky. Under the immortals' gazes, the leading boar king who had the largest body suddenly charged and stomped its feet into the heavenly wind chi wall. Immediately, the astral wind flying heavenly boars behind the boar king did the same. They were agile like flying fish, they had agility incomparable with their boar bodies, they charged into the heavenly wind chi wall. Soon, the large group of astral wind flying heavenly boars vanished from sight. Bu Zhenzi stood beside Zhao Lianyun, sighing, nature is wondrous and incredible. As GU immortals have such difficulty passing the heavenly wind chi wall. But for these astral wind flying heavenly boars, it is incredibly easy. The heavenly wind chi wall is like water for fish in the sea. At this time, a voice said, actually, long ago, GU immortals of the past had realized this. They eliminated the astral wind flying heavenly boars and used the immortal materials gathered from their bodies to refine Chi Path immortal GU. These Chi Path immortal GU were useful in helping the GU immortals pass the heavenly wind chi wall. Bu Zhenzi and Zhao Lianyun turned around, only to see a young male GU immortal as beautiful as a female, he stood before them quietly, smiling. Bu Zhenzi's eyes shined, he recognized this person. The young male GU immortal cupped his fists and greeted, I am Yu Yizi from Ancient Soul Sect, greets to Senior Bu Zhenzi, and Spirit Affinity House's current generation Fairy Zhao. Yu Yizi, you may have rank 6 cultivation level, but you are extremely talented, often, rank 7 GU immortals would approach you to refine immortal GU, or research immortal GU recipes, you are one of the top rank 6 GU immortals. Bu Zhenzi replied with a praising tone, but most importantly, he was explaining this to Zhao Lianyun. Zhao Lianyun obtained a phantom aperture and placed Love GU inside. After intense training, she finally joined the circle of GU Immortals. She was not very familiar with Central Continent's GU Immortals. Hello, Yu Yi. Zhao Lianyun nodded at the young GU Immortal, before asking, since you said that, why did we not use those Immortal GU when we passed the Heavenly Wind Qi Wall? Yu Yi laughed. That is because the era where Qi Path was strong is over. Right now, countless Qi Path GU recipes are lost, and GU materials used to refine them have gone extinct. Think about it, how many people can enter the immemorial 9 heavens? Almost all GU immortals can only explore this place after reaching rank 8. Thus, having such an immortal GU has little effect on them to begin with. Zhao Lianyun nodded, expressing her understanding. At this time, clamors could be heard from the immortals by the windows. Zhao Lianyun turned around and looked, only to see that a huge patch of black clouds narrowly moved past wind-sweeping building. Black clouds are very common in Black Heaven. The ones we are seeing are among the smallest in Black Heaven. The real giant black clouds are like floating continents in the sky. Deep within the black clouds, there are terrifying fierce beasts or plants. Yu Yi explained. Even these smallest black clouds took several minutes for the 3 immortal GU houses to fly past. Yu Yi was really knowledgeable. He knew many things that even the rank 7 GU immortal Bu Gen Z was unsure of, and could explain them clearly. He answered almost all of Zhao Lianyun's questions. The two conversed more as time passed, and the atmosphere was very relaxed. In the following journey, the 3 immortal GU houses encountered several black clouds along the way. These black clouds were not very evident in Black Heaven. Without a strong investigative killer move, one would unknowingly fly into them. The black clouds were like lone islands in the sea. The surface of the black clouds and even the interior were not empty, there were living beings residing there. The 3 rank 8 GU immortals were very careful. They did not move their immortal GU houses into the black clouds. They would rather take a detour and spend more time to avoid the clouds. But sometimes, even when you avoid trouble, trouble still comes to you. Hissing could be heard as a large group of dark venomous snakes flew out of the black clouds, attacking the 3 immortal GU houses. These dark venomous snakes were all desolate beast level, while the king snake was an ancient desolate beast. How can this be? At this distance, we should not be in the territory of the dark venomous snake group. Wei Lingyong was surprised. Fight or retreat? Bai Chentian asked. Wei Lingyong thought about it. Retreat, we should avoid fighting to preserve our battle strength, the journey ahead is very long. But retreating won't be easy, these are dark venomous snakes. Inside another immortal GU house, myriad tidal dragon transmitted. The dark venomous snakes held grudges. Once they lock onto prey, they would not give up. The 3 immortal GU houses flew rapidly, but even after a distance, the dark venomous snake group still trailed behind them. Not only this, more and more dark venomous snakes were emerging from the black clouds. So many snakes. That black cloud is like a snake den. I wonder how our 3 rank 8 lords will deal with this. In my opinion, we should fight. We have 3 immortal GU houses after all. That's right, these dark venomous snakes have poison path Dao marks, and their snake guts are the best immortal material to refine healing immortal GU. The GU immortals inside the immortal GU houses talked to each other, expressing their views. But the 3 rank 8 GU immortals continued to escape. They did not follow their wishes to fight. They continued flying like this. The 3 rank 8 GU immortals tried to avoid as they retreated. In their following journey, they encountered another group of dark venomous snakes. The size was even larger than before. Other than that, they even encountered bear mosquitoes. These mosquitoes were huge like bears, they had terrifying mouths. But most importantly, their numbers were huge, far greater than the dark venomous snakes. The bear mosquito group was very large. On one occasion, the 3 immortal GU houses were surrounded by a group of bear mosquitoes. They had to fight. Each bear mosquito had desolate beast battle strength. Tens of thousands of bear mosquitoes attacked at once. What did that mean? It was terrifying. After that battle, the GU immortals who wanted to fight all shut up. They realized how dangerous Black Heaven was. Thankfully, they had 3 immortal GU houses and the protection of rank 8 GU immortals, otherwise, they would all die under the attacks of the bear mosquitoes. After flying for a while more, they started seeing starlight ahead. Above a black cloud, there was star fragment grass growing with countless insect groups living on top of the grassland. The 3 immortal GU houses stopped for the first time. Several GU immortals were sent out to harvest the star fragment grass and other resources. Did you all feel it? Wei Lingyong transmitted. That's right, this journey in Black Heaven is especially smooth, I have never encountered this when exploring Black Heaven. Bai Chen sighed. Myriad Tidal Dragon continued. Perhaps the most crucial thing currently in saving Ma Hongyun is Zhao Lianyun's existence, it affects our luck. These clouds in the immemorial 9 heavens normally float randomly, they have no fixed pattern, even heavens will cannot interfere with their movement. Whatever we encounter is up to luck. Wei Lingyang nodded. I think so too. Chapter 1242, Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace. Above the vast sea of clouds, a person was standing still, looking at the clouds move as he remained silent. This person wore an azure gold suit of armor, his beard extended to his chest, he was a muscular man with an old appearance, it was South Desolation Immortal. I, Yao Huang, pay respects to Lord South Desolation. A figure emerged, it was Yao tribe's first supreme elder, rank 8 GU Immortal Yao Huang. South Desolation Immortal turned around and said while smiling, we are both rank 8s, just treat me as a friend, no need to be so polite. Yao Huang bowed reverently. In terms of cultivation level, Lord South Desolation, you are far beyond me. In terms of seniority, I am a descendant of countless generations below you, how can I be so rude? South Desolation Immortal nodded, sighing, you are good, but it is a pity that our Huang Jin bloodline is dwindling. In this huge northern plains, outside of Longevity Heaven, you are the sole rank 8 GU Immortal that belongs to a Huang Jin tribe. Prince Feng Xian was a member of Gong tribe, but from South Desolation Immortal's perspective, he was an outsider in terms of bloodline. Back in my generation, there were 4 rank 8s in the Huang Jin tribes, one of them was known as the Tiger God, he had incredible might, he was thought highly of by the people and was a potential seed to ascend to rank 9. Unfortunately, he died in Black Heaven. Time is merciless, the Huang Jin bloodline is declining every generation. South Desolation Immortal showed deep disappointment in his eyes. Yao Huang could not speak. Yao Huang was not qualified to speak such criticism of the Huang Jin bloodline, only South Desolation Immortal had the right to comment on it. And he was expressing a fact as well. Yao Huang had nothing to retort. It was like this, Northern Plains Huang Jin tribes were degrading, they were lacking talents, in contrast, lone and demonic cultivators were rising up with large numbers of geniuses, like Heavenly Lord Baizu, Chu Du, and that Lu Guanyi as well. However, Ancestor Giant Sun had anticipated this situation. South Desolation Immortal suddenly said, causing Yao Huang to feel great shock. Oh, Ancestor Giant Sun lived in the medieval antiquity era, he could predict this future situation. Even though our ancestor cultivated luck path, his wisdom path capabilities were not low at all. Furthermore, luck is uncertainty in essence, ancestor created luck path, he naturally learned the true meaning of change in this world. After he created 88 Truyong building, he proclaimed that this building was bound to fall one day, when it did, a great era would begin, it was a sign of changing times. South Desolation Immortal added. Yao Huang was shocked, is that so? What was a great era? It was a great era if an immortal venerable or demon venerable could come into existence. South Desolation Immortal sighed deeply. Ancestor Giant Sun spent a lot of effort and set up many arrangements to help his descendants and preserve strength. He wanted to ensure that they would be part of the wave in this great era's storms and tides. In the worst case, he wanted to ensure that his bloodline would be passed down intact. Yao Huang hesitated. No matter how weak our Huang Jin bloodline becomes, we must be able to defend ourselves, at least. Northern Plains is still under our control, and even if we are useless, there is still Longevity Heaven. South Desolation Immortal shook his head. Longevity Heaven might be strong, but it is just the immortal aperture of our ancestor. Meanwhile, Heavenly Court has the immortal apertures of 3 immortal venerables, and all of the members of Heavenly Court have contributed their own grotto heavens throughout history. How can Longevity Heaven's foundation compare to Heavenly Court? Like right now, Central Continent came to invade us, they sent 3 rank 8 GU immortals and 3 immortal GU houses. Does our Huang Jin bloodline possess such strength? Yao Huang was tongue-tied. What? Central Continent invaded? South Desolation Immortal did not explain, he said, follow me. Saying this, he flew to the sky. Yao Huang quickly followed after him. The 2 immortals flew through the heavenly wind chi wall, getting into Black Heaven. Under South Desolation Immortal's lead, Yao Huang headed towards the southeast direction. After flying for a while, Yao Huang was shaken. Black Heaven is such a dangerous place, even though I explore it often for rank 8 immortal materials, I have never had such a smooth journey without any obstacles before. Don't tell me Lord South Desolation has a map of Black Heaven. But the truth was, maps did not work in the immemorial 9 heavens. The clouds that were in the 9 heavens were constantly changing. Some were in specific locations, but those were rare and few. The Central Continent group had a relatively smooth trip, but they still encountered trouble like the Astral Wind Flying Heavenly Boar group, the Dark Venomous Snake group and other problems. South Desolation Immortal and Yao Huang met with absolutely no issues. They were safe and sound, as if they were strolling in their own garden. Alright, this is the place. South Desolation Immortal stopped flying. Yao Huang also slowed down, stopping beside him. He felt a little strange. This place was empty, without a trace of wind. Why was South Desolation Immortal stopping here? At the next moment, South Desolation Immortal answered him with an action. His body shined with golden light, like a fragment of the sun. Yao Huang had to close his eyes in response. Yao Huang's heart jumped. Black heaven was dark and eerie. This action of creating strong light would attract the attack of countless fierce beasts. Even though he became alert, no beast groups came attacking. Is this really Black Heaven? Yao Huang wondered. A moment later, South Desolation Immortal's immortal killer move was completed. A grand dark gold palace appeared out of nowhere, revealing its majestic appearance. Yao Huang had never expected an immortal GU house to be hidden here. But he quickly realized what this palace was. He became extremely agitated as he called out, "This is Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace. Calamity Luck Altar, 88 Truyong Building, Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace." These were the 3 immortal GU houses that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable owned during his life. 88 Truyong Building was placed in Imperial Court Blessed Land by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Calamity Luck Altar was kept in Longevity Heaven, while this Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace was placed in Black Heaven, hidden for countless years. Ancestor Giant Sun placed Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace here. There clearly are deep intentions. But what was he planning? Yao Huang continued to guess as South Desolation Immortal turned around to look at him. "Follow me." Yao Huang followed South Desolation Immortal, entering Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace. "Both of you have arrived." Inside the hall, there was one person. He sat on a cushion. He was not formed from will. He opened his eyes as lightning flashed in his eyes. Golden radiance shone brightly. Yao Huang saw this and shuddered. Huge waves were churning in his heart. Ancestor Giant Sun. "Howl," the wolf group called out, chasing after the 3 immortal GU houses. These wolves had long and slim bodies. They had black eyes, claws, and fangs. They were emitting cold glints of light. Most amazingly, they had no fur on their bodies. They had black and shiny leather armor that were very tough. This was a Night Heavenly Wolf group. The size was huge. There were over 10,000 Night Heavenly Wolves. Each Night Heavenly Wolf was a desolate beast. Wolf Kings were ancient desolate beasts. There was even a Wolf Emperor. It had rank 8 battle strength. "We can't escape. We are surrounded." To think that the Wolf Emperor has a wild rank 8 immortal GU that can conceal traces. A wolf group of this scale is not seen often in Black Heaven. We actually met one. The 3 rank 8 GU immortals conversed rapidly. Wei Ling Yang shouted, "Charge towards the northwest." Edge-linked camp opened a path in front. Its aura rose as immortal essence was expended rapidly, forming a huge charging horn. Wherever the giant horn went, it pierced into the wolf formation, creating a huge hole as several hundred desolate beast Night Heavenly Wolves died. The immortal GU house charged into the wolf group, as Canary Pavilion and Wind Sweeping Building followed close after it. The huge battle was dangerous and terrifying. The Wolf Emperor attacked during the battle. Its huge hill-like claws sent the immortal GU houses flying. Thankfully, each of the immortal GU houses had a rank 8 GU immortal inside. The 3 immortal GU houses could display their might and kill countless wolves. The wolf group's encirclement tactic was at an incredibly profound level. Even though the 3 immortal GU houses charged ahead, they could not break out. Eventually, the Wolf Emperor howled and retreated with the other wolves, causing this bloodbath to end. The wolf group had sustained losses that were too huge. The Wolf Emperor did not want to weaken it any further, thus it left. The 3 immortal GU houses were extremely damaged. A great number of GU worms were destroyed, including 3 immortal GU. The 3 rank 8 GU immortals also worked up a sweat. They were in difficult conditions. Their immortal essence expenditure was immense. Why is it that the closer we get to northern plains, the harder it becomes? We have already encountered 5 Night Heavenly Wolf groups. We also met dragon crocodiles, ghost spirit foxes. It seems like countless beast groups are trying to kill us. Forget about these beast groups. The most important thing is that we cannot encounter any black-white overturning clouds anymore. That time, this wind-sweeping building almost failed to come back. "Let's rest first and fix the immortal GU houses," Wei Ling Yang said. The 3 immortal GU houses had just stopped. when countless lights illuminated an enormous surrounding range. It resembled the blooming of countless flowers. The sparks were light red and looked like countless overlapping petals of flowers, but inside the flames, there were dark spots. Oh no, this is a special phenomenon of black heaven. Black lanterns, blind fire nurtures inside them, do not look at them. Bai Chen-Tian shouted as he shut his eyes. But it was too late. Many GU immortals only took one look before they lost their sight. Inside the 3 immortal GU houses, screaming and shouting could be heard. It was chaotic. Zhao Lianyun was quite lucky. She was facing the interior of the GU house as she spoke to Yu Yizi. Yu Yizi looked at the blind fire from the black lanterns, feeling his vision weakening rapidly as it turned blurry. He quickly shut his eyes. He was very knowledgeable, but many GU immortals were not. Some were leaning on the windows as they looked around. They saw at least 10,000 blind fires. Their vision turned completely dark, losing the ability to see anything. The 3 immortal GU houses quickly escaped hurriedly. Black lanterns did not cause any physical damage. Unlike wind or rain, the immortal GU houses charged through them as they quickly left the black lanterns behind. The 3 rank 8 GU immortals counted. At least 3 people permanently lost their sight without any ways to recover. 7 had severely weakened vision. It greatly affected their battle strength, but it could be salvaged at a high price. Some healing immortal GU were needed to be sent through Treasure Yellow Heaven. We just left the wolf group and wanted to rest, when we encountered black lanterns, while at the center of them. This is too unlucky. Wait, what is that? A swarm of ants were approaching. Each ant was a GU worm. Nether ant GU. Nether ants open a path. There has to be a soul beast army of hundreds of thousands or even millions. Run, quickly run. The 3 immortal GU houses had just stopped when they were forced to flee again. Chapter 1243, A Favor. Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable actually appeared in front of Yao Huang. Yao Huang was overwhelmed with shock. He could not believe it. South Desolation, pay respects to Immortal Venerable. At this time, South Desolation Immortal greeted respectfully. This unfilial descendant greets ancestor. Yao Huang was shaking from excitement. He quickly knelt down on the ground, tears flowing over his face. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable smiled lightly. Stand up, my main body has already died. I am merely a corpse sitting before you now. Yao Huang raised his head in shock. After inspection, he finally saw that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable in front of him was not alive. He was an immortal zombie. Ever since Red Lotus Demon Venerable damaged Fate GU, all souls in this world could remain in the realm of the living. Since then, zombies appeared. Gradually, when GU immortals realized they had insufficient lifespan, they would become immortal zombies. It was their best alternative. Even though Heavenly Court was against it and tried to stop it, they could not resist the desires of humans. More and more immortal zombies showed up in the 5 regions. Ordinary GU immortals could become immortal zombies. There was no reason why Giant Sun Immortal Venerable could not do the same, right? Thinking of this, Yao Huang's doubts vanished. Giant Sun Immortal Zombie continued to explain. Right now, other than my body, I only have some remnant will left inside this body. But Yao Huang was still very excited. Undeniably, you are the source of our Huang Jin bloodline, our common ancestor. As long as you show yourself, all of the Huang Jin tribes would end their conflicts and be united as one. The entirety of Northern Plains would belong to us Huang Jin tribes again. But Giant Sun Immortal Zombie shook his head. My main body died long ago. I only left a corpse behind. I did not manage to surpass rank 9 and attain eternal life. What is the point of showing myself? I will just be a laughing stock. Furthermore, my body only has 1 attack left. If I move even slightly, it will fizzle out. Just 1 attack. Yao Huang was shocked. The admiration and excitement in his eyes did not fade at all. Even if Ancestor can only attack once, it will definitely shake heaven and earth, and make the sun and moon pale in comparison. Giant Sun Immortal Zombie laughed. That is naturally the case. But don't count on it. I set Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace here to defend Northern Plains. But I left this body behind for another reason. I need to return a favor. A favor? Yao Huang was shocked. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable became an immortal zombie and stayed in Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace for 300,000 years just to return a favor. Who was it, who could make a great immortal venerable owe a favor? And this favor was so huge that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had to do this. Yao Huang was very confused, but Giant Sun Immortal Zombie did not explain it. He said, right now, Central Continent invaded but I cannot fight them off. Don't count on me, it all depends on you too. Yao Huang slowly stood up with a solemn expression. Central Continent's GU Immortals might have a strong lineup, but we have Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace, myself and Lord South Desolation. Don't worry, Ancestor, I will defend against these people at all costs. Even if I have to give up my life, I will do so without hesitation. Giant Sun Immortal Zombie looked at Yao Huang before shutting his eyes, returning to an inactive state. At this moment, he seemed to have become a statue. He no longer spoke. Yao Huang did not know why, but South Desolation Immortal patted his shoulder. Come with me. The two immortals left the main hall, going to the hall behind it. Yao Huang was still excited from earlier. Please give me orders, Lord South Desolation, I will do whatever it takes. South Desolation Immortal shook his head. Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace is a rank 8 immortal GU house. It was created by Ancestor Giant Sun personally using the Heaven and Earth Luck True Inheritance. Ancestor Giant Sun had great foresight. He placed Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace here for 300,000 years, suppressing this area until now. Do you know what Heaven and Earth Luck is? Yao Huang was dazed, muttering, Heaven and Earth Luck. South Desolation Immortal did not wait for a response. He smiled. A person has their own luck, a beast has its luck, a blade of grass also has its own luck. Any life form has luck. Other than that, rocks, rivers, they all have luck. And for the entirety of this Heaven and Earth, there is also Heaven Luck and Earth Luck. The Heaven and Earth Luck True Inheritance deciphers the profundities of Heaven and Earth, researching them, using them, and changing them. Forget the fact that there are 3 rank 8 GU Immortals who brought 3 immortal GU houses with them. Even if they doubled in numbers, once they came here, they were goners. I did not call you here for you to risk your life. You are the only rank 8 Huang Jin bloodline descendant outside of Longevity Heaven. Huh, Yao Huang was shocked. South Desolation Immortal continued. I have little lifespan left. After surviving for so long, lifespan GU stopped working on me. Next, I want you to see how I manipulate this immortal GU house, and eliminate these Central Continent GU Immortals. After I die, you will inherit my position as South Desolation. Yao Huang stared with wide-opened eyes, shouting, Lord South Desolation. Wind-sweeping building was silent inside. The black lanterns were like wind, rain, and lightning. They were a unique type of phenomenon in Black Heaven. They were not unprotected, but the black lanterns appeared too suddenly. And most importantly, when they appeared, Canary Pavilion, Wind-sweeping building, and Edge Link Camp were right at the center of countless black lanterns. Normally speaking, when rank 8 GU Immortals explored Black Heaven, if they saw any black lanterns, they would avoid them from afar. This time, the Central Continent GU Immortals had just escaped the Night Heavenly Wolf group. They relaxed and did not expect the black lanterns to appear. Thus, many GU Immortals were heavily injured as a result. At the top of Wind-sweeping building. Father, your eyes. Rank 6 GU Immortal Shi Zhengyi had tears in his eyes as he sobbed. His father was a famous rank 7 GU Immortal expert. To think that he was one of the 3 who went blind. When the black lanterns appeared, he was using an investigative killer move to observe the wolf group. His investigative killer move was very useful, but that resulted in him losing his vision instead. It was confirmed that from now on, Shi Zhe would no longer be able to see. He would be a blind man that could never use his eyes again. But Shi Zhe was calm. He stretched out his arm, patting Shi Zhengyi's head, saying, so what if I lose my sight? I have many methods and countless investigative killer moves. Even if I lose my vision, I can still cultivate and fight. What is the matter? But, Shi Zhengyi lowered his head and gritted his teeth, almost at the point of crying. My son, don't cry easily. GU Immortal cultivation is full of dangers. As long as we are still alive, we should continue charging ahead. Don't cry like a weakling. Don't you like listening to stories? Think about those protagonists. How did they live? Shi Zhe said softly. Shi Zhengyi nodded. Father, I understand. Even the rank 7 GU Immortal expert Shi Zhe lost his sight from this. Zhao Lianyun looked at this as her heart shook. She felt that this immortal GU house, wind-sweeping building, was not so safe after all. But she soon thought of Ma Hongyun. Hongyun, wait for me. No matter how dangerous and hard this is, I will find you and rescue you. Zhao Lianyun cheered herself on his determination shown in her eyes. Yu Yi, how are you? Zhao Lianyun asked the young GU Immortal beside her. This refinement path GU Immortal had been sitting on the ground with his eyes shut after seeing the black lanterns outside the window. He had been using an immortal killer move to heal himself. Hearing Zhao Lianyun's question, Yu Yi did not stop his immortal killer move. He spoke without opening his eyes. Thankfully, I realized early on and shut my eyes. If I was a bit slower, I would not be able to heal myself. Yu Yizi did not speak anymore. He stopped talking. Cold sweat was still remaining on his forehead, as he experienced lingering fear. Gradually, the GU Immortals became silent. Inside the three Immortal GU houses, they were enveloped with a solemn mood. Outside the Immortal GU house, there were soul howls. It was disturbing to the ears, even if the Immortal GU house was dampening the effect. Bu Gen Z looked outside worriedly. Oh no, we are encircled by a soul beast army. Zhao Lianyun heard this and looked outside, only to see countless nether ant GU surrounding the three Immortal GU houses, like waves of black river currents. Chapter 1244, Star Cloud Storm. Outside, there were countless nether ant GU, with the figures of soul beasts among them. They were truly a massive army. The shocking thing was that their auras were joined together like a group of mountains. They would be incredibly powerful once they moved, like a tsunami that crashed down with endless might. Not just the size of the soul beast army, but also the fact that there were many ancient and immemorial soul beasts among them. The GU Immortals could also sense the auras of many wild immortal GU. 5 immemorial soul beasts. We have just left the Black Lanterns, and now a soul beast army is here. The 3 rank 8 GU Immortals conversed secretly. They were having a bad feeling regarding how the situation was developing. Their luck was too bad. It was very suspicious. Wei Lingyang said grimly, "It seems that we need to consider the worst-case scenarios in our trip from now on." Damn it. Bai Chentian clenched his fists. Ever since Red Lotus Demon Venerable damaged Fate GU, the door of life and death became much weaker in absorbing souls. Many strong souls are able to stay in this world. After Spectral Soul Demon Venerable ascended, the world changed in that great era, and soul beasts appeared. Many souls even directly turned into soul beasts. Right now in immemorial Black Heaven, soul beasts are rampant in great numbers. When can we eradicate them and return the world to its rightful form? Soon, Myriad Tidal Dragon added. After the Battle of Yitian Mountain, most of the immortal zombies in the world were destroyed. These were Fate escapees that were meant to die. Now that they are dead, the difficulty of refining Fate Immortal GU lowered drastically. With Granny Shaw repairing it now, even without success Dao marks from infallible blessed land, we are still making huge progress. Wei Lingyang shook his head. Take note, the Soul Beast Army is coming. The matter at hand is to try and escape from the Soul Beast Army. Myriad Tidal Dragon sighed. The best way is to use Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's defensive method, the killer move that pairs with Divine Concealment, Ghostly Concealment. Rumors has it that the GU Immortal who possesses this immortal killer move would not be detected by soul beasts at all. But now, let's use my Dragon Flow Escape. But in this case, I need to bring myself and 3 immortal GU houses with me, along with many GU Immortals. Once I use this move, I will not be able to fight for the next 3 days. The 3 immortals discussed and decided to use Myriad Tidal Dragon's method. Dragons roared. Countless flying dragon phantoms appeared in the air, encircling the 3 immortal GU houses. The white dragon phantoms were like a long river, an uncountable number of dragons made of light, grand and unstoppable, charging forward with the 3 immortal GU houses. The Soul Beast Army howled, blocking them with multiple layers. But Dragon Flow Escape was incredible. By charging relentlessly, an opening was forcibly created as the 3 immortal GU houses escaped from the dangerous Soul Beast Army. The Soul Beasts moved quickly. The army did not give up, it followed closely behind. Myriad Tidal Dragon did not dare to deactivate Dragon Flow Escape. He had to grit his teeth and continue fueling it. Both sides chased for 6 hours, until the Soul Beast Army gave up. Its attention was drawn to a group of dark venomous snakes. I'm spent. I need to rest for 7 days before I can do anything again. It will depend on the rest of you now. Myriad Tidal Dragon had a pale expression, his face turned white, his originally vigorous eyes were filled with traces of blood, like he was completely exhausted beyond his limits. After stopping the killer move Dragon Flow Escape, Myriad Tidal Dragon fell backwards as he sank into deep sleep. His eyes were shut as he snored. His snore was special, it sounded like the roaring of dragons. As he slept, a thick fog appeared around his body. The thick fog started to form into a cocoon. 2 hours later, the cocoon thickened and turned into a pale white dragon egg. We are free from those soul beasts. It was really dangerous. The killer move earlier seemed to be from one of the 3 rank 8 great experts, Lord Myriad Tidal Dragon's method. It was truly grand and majestic. I was completely in awe. Inside the 3 immortal GU houses, the GU Immortals were cheering and praising. But Bai Chentian and Wei Lingyang had grim expressions. Myriad Tidal Dragon had fallen into deep sleep. They had lost one of their 3 rank 8s, but the journey was still around half done. The three immortal GU houses slowed down as the GU immortals inside tried to repair the immortal GU houses. In the next 2 hours, the central continent GU immortals encountered several ghost spirit fox groups and bear mosquito groups. They either retreated or fought, using the might of the immortal GU houses to move forward. Bai Chentian's heart suddenly shook, his lips curled into a smile as he said, Lord Wei Lingyang, I found a huge field of heaven-attached fungi 3,000 li away from here. Is that so? Wei Lingyang let out a breath of air, then we will rest there. The three immortal GU houses turned around and flew away. In a while, all three immortal GU houses landed on the surface of the heaven-attached fungi. Where is this? Are we safe? Zhao Lianyun looked outside in shock. Especially when she saw her GU immortal companions leaving the immortal GU house to move freely on the heaven-attached fungi. Yu Yizi smiled as he explained, the immemorial 9 heavens have their own special points. Like the Black Lantern phenomenon, it is unique to Black Heaven. But in the 9 heavens, there are some common aspects, like the astral wind flying heavenly boar, or this heaven-attached fungi. This fungi only grows in the immemorial 9 heavens. Heaven-attached fungi is a rank 6 immortal material. Most importantly, it has to grow on its own without any foreign Tao marks, other life forms and even rocks cannot exist here. Thus, once we see a field of heaven-attached fungi, we know it is a safe place to rest at. Alright, I have to go out now and collect some heaven-attached fungi, this is a rare opportunity. Yu Yizi quickly left wind-sweeping building. Zhao Lianyun had no interest in the heaven-attached fungi, she had just become a GU immortal, it had been too little time, she did not know the importance of cultivation resources, she was only thinking of how to save her lover Ma Hongyun. A moment later, there were no GU immortals left in wind-sweeping building. Are you not going to collect some heaven-attached fungi? Zhao Lianyun looked at Bu Zhenzi, asking this. Bu Zhenzi smiled. The sect ordered me to protect you, I will not leave you for even a second. Zhao Lianyun was understanding towards this, then I will go down as well. Bu Zhenzi shook his head. Thank you for the thought, but even if we are standing on the heaven-attached fungi, I will not pick them. That would only distract me, if anything happens, it will be too late to regret it. Zhao Lianyun heard this and felt warmth in her heart, she said softly, thank you. Bu Zhenzi shook his head. No need to be so polite, you are the current generation fairy of Spirit Affinity House, my duty is to protect you. Zhao Lianyun sighed, leaning on the window as she said gloomily, to think that Black Heaven is so dangerous, but there is such a safe place here. It shows that heaven always leaves a way out, we will definitely succeed in this trip. Right. Bu Zhenzi did not hesitate, he answered, of course. But he suddenly dragged out his words in a strange tone. At the same time, Zhao Lianyun saw that there were some starlight shining far away. This was not the blind fire from black lanterns, of course, the color was different. This blue starlight resembled countless diamonds embedded on black silk, it was distant and unforgettable. Zhao Lianyun squinted as she sighed, so beautiful. Very dangerous. According to the records, this size, Bu Zhenzi turned pale, he said in a trembling tone. Zhao Lianyun became alert. What? She had just asked when the warning and orders of rank 8 GU Immortal Bai Chentian came. Outside the Immortal GU house, GU Immortals were rushing back in a panic. Wei Lingyang's gaze was like an eagle, he looked at the approaching starlight with a grim expression, what a huge star cloud storm. Millions upon millions of stars were flying now. Some shooting stars had long trails left in the night sky, among which were huge stars, some were island-sized, while some were as large as a piece of land. Between stars, there were countless starlight specks, like the weaving of a web of lightning. The star cloud storm was a phenomenon unique to immemorial blue heaven, but due to historical reasons, immemorial blue heaven shattered and large numbers of stars fell into immemorial black heaven. Thus, there were star cloud storms in black heaven as well. This is the first time I am seeing a star cloud storm of this scale. Bai Chentian had an ugly expression. Now it seems, this heaven-attached fungi field was a trap to lure us to rest here. Chapter 1245. Watching a meteor shower with you. The star cloud storm's range was too huge, it was fast and powerful. The three immortal GU houses from Central Continent could not escape from it. The stars flew over endlessly, lightning clouds were rumbling as starlight shot out continuously, it was a magnificent sight, but one could only feel weak and helpless, expressing nothing but shock at this. I will charge ahead with edge-linked camp, the rest of you follow me. At the crucial moment, Wei Lingyang decided this. The three immortal GU houses flew towards the star cloud storm. The huge immortal GU houses were like tiny ants in front of the star cloud storm. Heaven and earth was growling loudly. The star cloud storm was like a prehistoric whale, swallowing the 3 central continent Immortal GU houses easily. The 3 Immortal GU houses were unable to satisfy the appetite of this star cloud storm. Rumble. Wind-sweeping building was shaking intensely. Zhao Lianyun could not stand stably, she fell to the ground. Outside the window, countless glaring starlight specks were shining in, turning the entirety of wind-sweeping building blue. Zhao Lianyun felt like she was on a plank in a stormy sea, she was enduring the might of the tides and strikes of lightning. Her mouth was dry, she was scared, even with GU Immortal battle strength, she could not resolve this problem. She could only rely on the Immortal GU houses, on the 3 rank 8 great experts. Zhao Lianyun did not know that among the 3 rank 8 GU Immortals, Myriad Tidal Dragon was sleeping now. Thankfully, wind-sweeping building was under Bai Chentian's control, the situation was better than Canary Pavilion. But even so, Bai Chentian was covered in sweat, he was concentrating and did not dare to relax his mind. He moved wind-sweeping building and traveled in the star cloud storm, continuously avoiding the huge stars. These stars moved quickly, if wind-sweeping building crashed into them, it would suffer huge damage. Even though wind-sweeping building was an Immortal GU house, and would not break apart from just a few stars, in this situation, once wind-sweeping building loses control of its movement, it would slow down and be hit by endless number of stars. If that happened, it would be destroyed inside this star cloud storm, everyone would die. GU Immortals are powerful, and Immortal GU houses are useful, but against the might of heaven and earth, we are still minuscule and insignificant. Bai Chentian gritted his teeth. Oh no. He could not react in time. Wind-sweeping building finally got hit. A hill-like star crashed into wind-sweeping building with the ferocity of a storm. Wind-sweeping building's entire size was less than 10% of the star. But it was an Immortal GU house, it was sturdy. It was the star which shattered instead of wind-sweeping building. But the impact of the star's collision sent wind-sweeping building flying far away through brute force. The 3 Immortal GU houses were working together and flying alongside each other earlier, but now, the other 2 Immortal GU houses dodged the star while wind-sweeping building was pushed away from the group. Bai Chen. Quick, Wei Ling Yang's voice could be heard. But in this star cloud storm, fragments were everywhere, the uncountable number of star path Dao marks were disrupting the information path communication method of Wei Ling Yang and Bai Chentian. Bai Chentian could only hear a short and incomplete message. But he knew what Wei Ling Yang wanted to say. Wei Ling Yang wanted him to try and catch up with them. In the star cloud storm, Wei Ling Yang could not stay behind or even have any strength to reinforce Bai Chentian. Because around him, Canary Pavilion also needed to be taken care of. Bai Chentian had to rely on himself. Let's do it, Bai Chentian shouted, his eyes shone with endless brilliance, his rank 8 aura surged like a tornado. Wind-sweeping building shone with a jade-green light, which quickly turned into fierce winds rapidly. The winds moved and howled shrilly. These deep green-colored winds joined together, forming into a strong and sturdy tornado pillar. Immortal GU house wind-sweeping building stabilized, the surrounding stars were all pushed away by the wind pillar. This is wind-sweeping building's strongest method. Yu Yizi was roused, his eyes shone with light as he said excitedly. Wind-sweeping building was at the center of the wind pillar, it was completely peaceful here, as if they had left the terrible tsunami and landed on a shore. The GU Immortals inside wind-sweeping building erupted into cheers. Zhao Lianyun had just crawled up from the floor when a huge star crashed into the tornado wind pillar, before breaking in an assaulting wind-sweeping building. At the crucial moment, Bai Chentian had a timely response, he controlled wind-sweeping building and lowered their altitude. This huge star grazed past wind-sweeping building. Some GU Immortals by the window could see that at the moment near collision, the star had countless holes on the surface, they could be seen due to the close proximity. The GU Immortals who were normally graceful and elegant screamed again, they were like mortals who were experiencing natural disasters. Wind-sweeping building moved with difficulty inside the star cloud storm. Even though this Immortal GU house used its strongest method, against the star cloud storm, it was not enough. Some huge stars approached forcefully, directly crashing into the tornado wind pillar. And between the stars, there was a chaotic magnetic field, these fields repelled, attracted, and crushed wind-sweeping building. Wind-sweeping building had to dodge those stars while under the might of these magnetic fields, thankfully it was the rank 8 GU Immortal Bai Chentian holding the fort, any rank 7 GU Immortal would falter for sure. However, even Bai Chentian was covered in sweat, his rank 8 Immortal essence was rapidly expended, his expenditure far surpassed any battle he had ever had. This will not do, this star cloud storm is too huge, I do not know when I can escape. Bai Chen-tian had a thought as he ordered for the GU Immortals to send their immortal essence into wind-sweeping building. The GU Immortals quickly contributed their efforts, including Zhao Lianyun. She had a phantom aperture, but she had refined immortal essence stones before and accumulated some immortal essence. Boom, boom, boom. From time to time, huge stars would crash into the wind pillar, most would be dodged by wind-sweeping building, but some still hit. The magnetic fields were everywhere, like a cruel giant toying around with wind-sweeping building. Inside the immortal GU house, the GU Immortals did not speak, they were infusing their immortal essence into wind-sweeping building wholeheartedly. The atmosphere was tense. Every time a giant star crashed, many GU Immortals' bodies shook. Zhao Lianyun's heart was in trepidation. She had never been faced with such danger, she would not be surprised if she died at the next moment. Hong Yun, she thought of Ma Hongyun's name, each time she mentally muttered it, her heart returned to peace slightly. After countless times, Zhao Lianyun's mental state became completely peaceful. Hong Yun, you had once risked your life for me, do you know? I am doing the same now. Even if I die here, I have no regrets. I am coming to save you. When I meet you, I will tell you that the starlight here is very fierce and dangerous beyond your imagination, it is not romantic at all. In a daze, Zhao Lianyun recalled the past. At that time, Zhao Lianyun's father had died in the battlefield, she was all alone, forced to marry someone else, she had to rely on Ma Hongyun. On a small mound, it was night time, Ma Hongyun was lying on the grassland with her. Lady Xiaoyun, quickly look, it's a meteor shower. Ma Hongyun pointed at the sky as he shouted. Boring, you brought me here to see this. Zhao Lianyun rolled her eyes, what is so nice about this? Goo, Ma Hongyun scratched his head. I don't find it nice either, but they said that to make a girl happy, I need to watch a meteor shower with her. At this time, in northern plains, we can often see meteor showers at night. Zhao Lianyun mentally sighed, thinking, I am so old already, I am afraid only young girls would like this. Wait a minute, my body is still young, I am still a young girl. At this time, Ma Hongyun asked, Lady Xiaoyun, after looking at this meteor shower, has your mood improved? Zhao Lianyun mentally sighed once again, she said in a coaxing tone, I am much better now, I am so happy, look, this meteor shower is so beautiful, huh? Ma Hongyun's body shook, he quickly waved his hand, Lady Xiaoyun, don't say that, I am getting goosebumps. Zhao Lianyun stood up in an instant, stomping at Ma Hongyun, learning how to woo women out of all things, and you want to flirt with me, you are actually flirting with me. Ma Hongyun was screaming out in pain from getting kicked, shouting, Lady Xiaoyun, stop it. What is flirting? I have done no such thing. If I did something wrong, I will change it, okay? Stop kicking me. Zhao Lianyun ignored him as Ma Hongyun rolled around from getting kicked. Eventually, Zhao Lianyun worked up a sweat, she placed her arms at her waist as she looked at the scurrying Ma Hongyun, laughing smugly. Ma Hongyun heard her laughter and thought, Lady Xiaoyun is finally laughing, as expected, the meteor shower made her mood better. Gasp, but it is so painful for me. Her memories flashed right before Zhao Lianyun's eyes. Unknowingly, Zhao Lianyun had started smiling. Hongyun, after I save you, I will kick you countless times to celebrate it. Zhao Lianyun thought. Right at this time, Love Gu inside her phantom aperture actually emitted a profound aura on its own. The aura was colorless and formless, it spread rapidly. Ordinary Gu Immortals could not sense it, but Bai Chen-tian's body shook, his eyes shone with brilliance, he subconsciously thought, is this the power of Love Gu? Chapter 1246, Spaceless Tunnel. Every moment in the star cloud storm was hard to endure. After a long time, a certain GU Immortal in wind-sweeping building realized something, saying, everyone for some time already, there have been no stars crashing at us. As he said that, the tornado pillar surrounding wind-sweeping building vanished instantly. The Immortals saw that in the calm dark night, far away, the star cloud storm was moving away with imposing might. Wind-sweeping building was silent for a moment before exploding with cheers. We made it. So close, even with an immortal GU house defending us, being in immemorial black heaven still poses a danger of dying. Thanks to Lord Bai Chen-tian, otherwise, we would have died in this star cloud storm. The GU Immortals talked with great joy. Bai Chen-tian had a hazy gaze, he thought, we were able to escape the star cloud storm all thanks to Zhao Lianyun's love immortal GU. At the crucial moment, Love GU emitted an aura that led Bai Chen-tian towards the correct direction. Bai Chentian controlled wind-sweeping building. He followed this direction and quickly escaped from the star cloud storm. And within the star cloud storm, star path Dao marks were filling the area. With conflicting Dao marks, Bai Chentian's methods were very ineffective. Bai Chentian's expression was still gloomy. We have already escaped danger, but Wei Lingyang does not have love Gu. I wonder if they are still struggling inside the star cloud storm. After losing contact with the other two immortal Gu houses, Bai Chentian did not continue on his journey. He moved around the area, searching for them. Thankfully, half a day later, he successfully contacted Wei Lingyang. Wei Lingyang led Canary Pavilion and charged through the star cloud storm with difficulty. They had left the star cloud storm after Bai Chentian, but unfortunately, they were ambushed by a Sky Chief Beast group. After being informed of this, Bai Chentian manipulated wind-sweeping building, bringing the Gu Immortals with him to rescue them. After getting to the ambush site, the Gu Immortals saw Canary Pavilion and edge-linked camp. They gasped loudly. These two immortal Gu houses were surrounded by Sky Chief Beasts. Sky Chief Beasts lived in basically all of the immemorial 9 heavens. Each Sky Chief Beast was at least a mutated Beast King. They were on par with ordinary Beast Emperors. And the kings of each Sky Chief Beast group were Desolate Beast level. Beast Emperors among them were at least ancient Desolate Beasts. Within this Sky Chief Beast group, there were 100 ancient Sky Chiefs, and over 1,000 Desolate Beast Sky Chiefs. The remaining Sky Chief Beasts were overwhelming in number. They were uncountable. Edge-linked camp and Canary Pavilion were at the center, surrounded by countless Sky Chiefs. Even though they defended themselves, they were heavily damaged and were in great danger. Bai Chentian could not waste any more time. He charged ahead with wind-sweeping building. At this time, both sides could communicate again. Wei Lingyang immediately moved edge-linked camp towards Canary Pavilion and Wei Lingyang, cooperating with them to break out of the encirclement. The Sky Chief Beast group roared loudly. The sound waves were like a tsunami. It was shocking. Both sides engaged in fierce combat. Countless immortal killer moves were sent out like fireworks, displayed among the Sky Chief Beast group. The Sky Chief Beast group died in batches after batches, but they were quickly replaced with even more beasts. The Sky Chief Beast group was too huge. It did not mind such losses. And those Desolate Beast Sky Chiefs and ancient Sky Chiefs could last much longer in battle. During this time, edge-linked camp suddenly burst with strength. Silhouettes of sharp horns were formed, shooting out in all directions. This was an incredibly strong attack in which even Desolate Beast Sky Chiefs would be unable to withstand. Even ancient Sky Chiefs did not dare to take the attacks head-on. Wind-sweeping building created a jade wind pillar again, as Canary Pavilion emitted the cries of 1,000 birds. The 3 immortal Gu houses worked together, opening a path within the Sky Chief Beast group and meeting at the convergent point. Next, the 3 immortal Gu houses turned around and fled. In a few minutes, they were free from the pursuit of the Sky Chief Beast group. The situation is horrible. Bai Chentian and Wei Lingyang communicated in a grim tone. The 3 immortal Gu houses are heavily damaged. Half of Canary Pavilion is completely unstable now. We need to rest and recover. Myriad Tidal Dragon is unconscious, and my immortal essence has already been depleted by more than half. Immortal essence affected the Gu immortals' battle strength to a great extent. Bai Chentian used more than half of his immortal essence, so did Wei Lingyang. Even though immortal Gu houses were powerful, they consumed a lot of immortal essence. This was why Fang Yuan had never planned to construct any immortal Gu houses. Even though he knew most of graceful chaotic dual stages composition, of course, he forgot a portion and also the entirety of Sacred Feather City's structure. But he did not have Giant Sun's immortal essence anymore. With his own immortal essence, he could not sustain the use of an immortal Gu house. Immortal Gu houses used too much immortal essence. Only rank 8 Gu immortals could sustain the consumption alone. Rank 6 and 7 Gu immortals had to work together to display their might fully. Most importantly, the central continent Gu immortals still had half the journey left. It seems we can only use Spaceless Tunnel now, Wei Lingyang said grimly. Bai Chentian was stunned before nodding, agreeing. That is the only way to cross half of the distance and reach our destination. The 2 rank 8 Gu immortals were determined figures. The greater the setbacks, the greater their fighting spirit. They had never thought of retreating. And their encounters might not have been expected, but Heavenly Court's Wisdom Path Gu Immortal Fairy Ziwei had already prepared other plans for them in advance. Spaceless Tunnel was one of them. Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace. Through this rank 8 Immortal Gu house, the experiences of Central Continent's 3 Immortal Gu houses could be seen by Yao Huang. Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace affects the luck of heaven and earth. All that happens within immemorial black heaven, the direction where the lightning storms go, cannot be affected by even heaven's will. But luck suppression heavenly palace can interfere with it. This is an invincible defense. With this palace, who can invade northern plains? Yao Huang was extremely excited, his tone was heated and he had great admiration towards giant son Immortal Venerable. Yao Huang looked at South Desolation Immortal, saying, Lord, I finally understand why you are so calm now. With luck suppression heavenly palace here, nobody can think of invading northern plains. South Desolation Immortal laughed. Luck suppression heavenly palace has been stationed here for 300,000 years. What does that mean? It has already deeply affected immemorial black heaven, even immemorial white heaven has been influenced. This is the supreme power of heaven and earth luck. Yao Huang thought of Ma Hongyun, saying, heaven and earth luck is so incredible, then all living beings' luck cannot be lacking in comparison. But now, fortune rivaling heaven Immortal Gu's user is in old ancestor Shui Hu's hands. Yao Huang had no other options against old ancestor Shui Hu, but South Desolation Immortal was different. Especially when Yao Huang saw the power of luck suppression heavenly palace and the sorry states of these three central continent immortal GU houses, thus he was moved and wanted to incite South Desolation Immortal to deal with old ancestor Shui Hu. But South Desolation Immortal shook his head and smiled. Ma Hongyun has our Huang Jin bloodline, and is a descendant of ancestor giant sun, there is no problem with him getting fortune rivaling heaven GU. It will not be easy for old ancestor Shui Hu to snatch it away. Yao Huang was worried. That old ancestor Shui Hu has already been refining it for so long, with just fortune rivaling heaven Immortal Gu's power, can it really make the refinement fail? South Desolation Immortal shook his head. Of course not, even though fortune rivaling heaven Immortal GU has quasi-rank 9 power, it cannot resist the rank 8 GU Immortal old ancestor Shui Hu. Furthermore, he has the aid of Lady Wan Shou, one of the 4 great refinement path experts in northern plains. Do you think my longevity heaven has done nothing? We will not let fortune rivaling heaven end up in the hands of others, we made our arrangements long ago. If old ancestor Shui Hu cannot find them, he will not succeed in this refinement. Yao Huang realized that longevity heaven had taken action long ago, but its method was too impressive, everyone was deceived, even Shui Hu and Wan Shou could not notice. Amazing, truly amazing. Compared to longevity heaven, even old ancestor Shui Hu was toyed in our palms. Yao Huang was truly impressed in his heart. His gaze towards South Desolation Immortal changed again, he felt that South Desolation Immortal was unfathomable, he truly had the demeanor of a senior. But at the next moment, South Desolation Immortal's expression changed suddenly. South Desolation Immortal was confused, he called out, what happened? These central continent GU immortals vanished all of a sudden. Chapter 1247, Water Path Grand Master. This where are we? Zhao Lianyun looked outside, expressing shock on her face. But this time, even the knowledgeable Yu Yizi could not answer her. Bu Zhenzi, who was in charge of Zhao Lianyun's safety, said in an uncertain tone, this unique phenomenon is its spaceless tunnel. The 3 immortal GU houses from Central Continent, Canary Pavilion, Edge-Length Camp, and Wind-Sweeping Building, were moving inside a huge tunnel. This tunnel was blue in color, with rainbow-colored threads that extended forward in the path. These rainbow-colored threads were lined around the blue tunnel walls, they were dazzling and beautiful. What is spaceless tunnel? Yu Yizi asked. Bu Zhenzi looked at Zhao Lianyun with a complex gaze, you should be familiar with it. Me, Zhao Lianyun was confused, she did not know why Bu Zhenzi would say this. Bu Zhenzi sighed, saying, because Spaceless Tunnel is a unique immortal killer move created by Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Southern Border, Super GU Formation. Inside the dream. This disciple greets Master. Fang Yuan knelt on the ground, paying respects to the female GU immortal in front of him. The female immortal gave a murmur of acknowledgement before saying, I am Jing Miaozi, I cultivate water path. Even though you are my descendant, whether you can cultivate my water path will depend on your understanding and aptitude. Pass this test and you will become my true disciple. Please tell me, Master. Fang Yuan said respectfully. The female immortal waved her sleeve and the dream realm changed. Fang Yuan was standing in front of a jade pool. This jade pool was extremely green and calm, like a huge piece of jade. A rumbling river is water. The sea is water. The calm jade pool is also water. Water path is deep and profound, I personally cultivate the path of calm water. Step into the pool and the moment you can stand on top of it without using any GU worms, I will accept you as my disciple. Fang Yuan stared with wide-opened eyes, he was hearing this for the first time, he said, Master, if I do not use GU worms, I will be like a mortal. How can a mortal body stand on top of the water surface? That is your problem. The female immortal waved her sleeve, vanishing in front of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan frowned. He walked around the jade pool. After several rounds, he stepped into it. Plop. With a soft sound, he fell into the water directly. He quickly climbed up the edge of the pool. He was completely soaked. It was a sorry sight. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth. He hesitated before using the immortal killer move Unravel Dream. But this time, the all-powerful Unravel Dream did nothing. There were no changes. Fang Yuan sighed internally. It was useless indeed. Sigh, this is problematic. Not long ago, Fang Yuan's luck path attainment level had risen. He could easily raise Qi luck sensation to a new level. Therefore, the location of Ying Wuxie and gang was exposed. They were in southern border. Fang Yuan realized this and started to make preparations, raising his strength and borrowing immortal GU from Wu clan. However, he met with a problem when he wanted to leave. If Fang Yuan left, Wu clan would have no rank 7 GU immortals holding the fort at the Super GU formation. With Wu clan initiating the immortal opportunity business, the situation was quite severe. Without any experts around, the other clans could easily find trouble with them. Wu Yang agreed readily to lend Fang Yuan Wu clan's immortal GU, but he did not agree to the matter of leaving. Wu clan had many GU immortals and had a huge force, but their territory was too big. They needed a lot of manpower. They had few GU immortals, causing them to be short on people. Some jobs could not be transferred easily, like Fang Yuan's role of defending the Super GU formation. Not many people in Wu clan could do it. Even if they had strength, their political abilities were a concern as well. Fang Yuan gave the request of leaving his assigned position. Wu Yang felt a deep headache. But Fang Yuan was insistent on it. Wu Yang had to relent and change the roles of the other GU immortals. But this matter had huge implications on the others. Wu Yang said that a lot of time was needed. Fang Yuan had to wait. But in the process of waiting, Fang Yuan encountered a superb dream realm. There were all sorts of dream realms that were constantly changing. There were realistic dream realms and also strange ones. Fang Yuan would normally choose realistic dream realms to explore. The strange dream realms were hard to decipher. Fang Yuan did not want to take unnecessary risks. According to historical records, Jing Miaozi was a disciple of Shui Ni. This dream realm's owner is the disciple of Jing Miaozi, her true disciple. That can only be one person, the water path great expert famous in history, Sea Calming Lord. In Central Continent's history, there was an immemorial desolate beast that caused falling heavenly river to change directions, resulting in a tsunami that swept the lands. Central Continent's central area was flooded and the tsunami to the east was overwhelming. Back then, Heavenly Court GU Immortal Sea Calming Lord stood up and used several immortal killer moves to return falling heavenly river to its rightful direction. The sea level returned to normal. He had incredible methods. My killer move Unravel Dream is usually effective, but it had no effect here. No wonder, no wonder. This was not the first time Fang Yuan was using Unravel Dream. But this time, even after using it several times, the dream realm was unmoved. Fang Yuan thought about it. Most likely, this dream realm was too powerful. Killer move Unravel Dream only used a rank 6 core immortal GU, it could not unravel this dream. The strength of a dream realm was not closely related to the crucial person in the dream realm. For example, Fang Yuan had once explored star constellation Immortal Venerable's dream realm. He used Unravel Dream there and achieved great success. But now, Fang Yuan's Unravel Dream could not unravel Sea Calming Lord's dream realm. Sea Calming Lord was only rank 8, he could not match star constellation Immortal Venerable. But the strength of the dream realm was not closely related to their cultivation level or strength during their lifetime. As for what relationship there was, Fang Yuan had no idea. Don't forget, in the 500 years of his previous life, Fang Yuan was not adept at exploring dream realms either. His main focus was on his blood path cultivation. Fang Yuan did not study dream realms deeply, but he knew something: the stronger the dream realm, the greater the benefits after exploring it. Remembering this, Fang Yuan's interest in this dream realm rose again. Wu clan has not redistributed the roles yet. I want to borrow Immortal GU, but Wu Yang would not let me have them until he finishes the new role distribution. In that case, for this period of time, I should research in this dream realm. In the following days, Fang Yuan calmed down and went to explore the dream realm again, allowing him to stand on the surface of the water without using any GU worms. On the surface, this seemed impossible. Because without using any GU worms, the GU master was no different from immortal. Of course, this was different from fortune rivaling heaven, or black boar GU which carved Tao marks onto the GU master's body. There are water path GU worms like water walking GU, they can allow the GU master to carve water path Tao marks on their feet and allow them to run freely on the water surface. But this has nothing to do with the dream realm's task. This dream realm did not allow the use of water walking GU. Even if it could be used, Fang Yuan would not use it. Because he knew that this problem was not about the task at hand, but himself instead. As for solutions like freezing the surface of the water and standing on it, they were ideas that dodged the question, they did not target the true essence of this problem. Like what Jing Miaozi had said, she is testing my aptitude. This is a realistic dream realm, Sea Calming Lord must have passed it, there is no reason that I cannot. After all, my water path attainment level is at quasi-Grand Master. Fang Yuan continued to try, he had fallen into the pool many times. If ordinary mortals ended up in this dream realm and fell into the water once, their souls would dissipate on the spot. For GU immortals, falling inside several times would weaken their souls to a great extent. Fang Yuan's soul foundation was deep, every time he entered the dream realm, he could fall into the water 17 to 18 times before his soul reached its limit. At this time, Fang Yuan would use Guts GU to heal himself. Guts GU was a mortal GU, but it originated from a secluded domain of heaven and earth, Danghun Mountain, it was very effective. Fang Yuan had such a strong aid, he continued to work hard and started to have a feeling. This feeling could not be expressed with words, it was mystical. Fang Yuan tried again, when he stepped onto the water surface again, plop, he fell into the water again without doubt. When he climbed ashore, he saw his master Jing Miaozi standing by the pool, looking at him. Jing Miaozi spoke furiously, what aptitude is this? Such a simple test but you still can't pass it until now. You are not fit to be my disciple. Fang Yuan smiled lightly, no master, I did it. Like what you said, I have to stand on the water surface without sinking, I have already done it. Jing Miaozi smiled from extreme anger, she pointed at the water on Fang Yuan's body, then what is this? Fang Yuan shook his head, this is nothing. The pool of water in my heart is calm and unmoving, I am already standing on it. Looking down, I can see my own reflection on the clear water surface. Jing Miaozi's anger and smile vanished gradually. She looked at Fang Yuan deeply, nodding as she said plainly, not bad, from today onwards, you are my official true disciple. At the next moment, the entire dream realm vanished, Fang Yuan returned to reality. This dream realm only has one scene. Fang Yuan was shocked. But soon, his shock turned into extreme joy. Wonderful, my water path attainment finally reached Grandmaster level. Earlier, Fang Yuan's water path attainment level was at quasi-Grandmaster level, he seemed close to Grandmaster, but he was actually still very far from reaching Grandmaster. But now, this distance was passed as Fang Yuan became a true water path Grandmaster. Succeeding transformation path, strength path, blood path, wisdom path, and star path, Fang Yuan had finally become a Grand Master of a sixth path. Chapter 1248. Ying Wu Xia's Objective. Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace. Not here either. So strange, why did these Central Continent GU Immortals vanish without a trace? South Desolation Immortal was no longer as composed, his calm smile vanished, sweat was covering his forehead. He continued to manipulate Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace, inspecting everywhere, but he could not deduce the location of the Central Continent GU Immortals. Yao Huang was also dazed, he asked quickly, Lord South Desolation, do I need to do anything? At this time, Giant Sun Immortal Zombie's voice resounded, this is Spaceless Tunnel. South Desolation Immortal was even more shocked now, Central Continent's GU Immortals possess this immortal killer move of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. But Giant Sun Immortal Zombie denied it. No, they are just using the Spaceless Tunnel left behind by Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Spaceless Tunnel, a space path immortal killer move. In the past, Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had roamed the entire world to look for a way to return home. Undeniably, he was the Venerable who had traveled the most in this world compared to the others. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had covered almost every area in the 5 regions and 2 heavens. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable felt that a person was too small, and the GU Master World was too big, thus he created Spaceless Tunnel. This immortal killer move could shorten his traveling distance greatly, and hasten his exploration speed. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had gone missing long ago without a trace, but portions of his Spaceless Tunnel killer move left behind in the 5 regions and 2 heavens were still in existence even now, they seemed to be able to last forever. The 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent had never stopped researching Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. Because Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable was different from the other Venerables, he was an otherworldly demon. From this point, Heavenly Court would not ignore him. Spirit Affinity House possessed a Thieving Heaven true inheritance, they let Zhao Lianyun inherit it. This was a fruit of Heavenly Court's research regarding Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. When Central Continent's GU Immortals found this spaceless tunnel, they could use a corresponding method and shorten their travel distance. Then where does this spaceless tunnel lead to? South Desolation Immortal reacted, realizing the key to this problem. Giant Sun Immortal Zombie answered, I cannot find out either, this is the work of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable after all. When Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was still alive, he had suffered a loss in a Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable inheritance. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was the creator of Luck Path, but against Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable, he did not have any strong methods to deal with his arrangements. South Desolation Immortal was silent. Yao Huang was stunned. What could they do? Giant Sun Immortal Zombie answered. Since they use the spaceless tunnel, we only need to wait for them to reappear. Yao Huang asked. This means that Central Continent's GU Immortals can appear at any place. If they appear in Northern Plains directly, what should we do? Central Continent's GU Immortals were in a distressed state and lost a lot of their battle strength, but they were still very powerful. 3 Immortal GU houses and 3 rank 8 GU Immortals, along with many rank 6 and 7 GU Immortals, as well as the rank 9 Love GU. If this lineup appeared in the base of any super force Huang Jin tribe, the ones to lose would definitely be the Huang Jin tribe. If these Central Continent GU Immortals appeared in my Yao tribe, thinking of this, Yao Huang felt uneasy. Please guide us, Ancestor. South Desolation Immortal sought help. Giant Sun Immortal Zombie chuckled. My descendants have their own fortune and disaster coexist, they can be interchanged. This is Northern Plains calamity, but it can be turned into Northern Plains blessing. My main body died long ago, this is not my era. Go and work hard for the future, regardless of failure or success. Turning the calamity into a blessing, that will depend on your actions. Giant Sun Immortal Zombie said that before returning to silence again. South Desolation Immortal and Yao Huang looked at each other helplessly. Southern Border, Super GU Formation. Fang Yuan was holding an ordinary GU material. He casually threw this GU material into the stove. The flame in the stove was burning, but it was emitting coldness instead. The fire inside the stove was very special, it was not orange, it was pale white and blue, this was a cold flame. Soon after, the cold flame extinguished all of a sudden, leaving no traces behind. From the stove, a GU worm flew out. This GU worm looked like a mosquito larva, it was thin and brown with a little green inside, it was wide and big. When it floated towards Fang Yuan, its body retracted and expanded, it was quite special. This was a Strength Path GU worm, obviously Immortal GU. But its name was Pulling Water, this made it a little special. Fang Yuan already had Pulling Water, it was a rank 6 Strength Path Immortal GU. But this one was a Strength Path Mortal GU. Pulling Water GU could emit a mysterious power to allow the GU Master to manipulate water currents like rivers and streams. This Pulling Water Mortal GU's effect was naturally far below the rank 6 Pulling Water Immortal GU. But Fang Yuan was overjoyed. Why? Firstly, Immortal GU were unique. If Fang Yuan used 2 Immortal killer moves that needed Pulling Water Immortal GU at the same time, what would happen? With Mortal Pulling Water GU, Fang Yuan could use a great number of Mortal GU to temporarily replace Pulling Water Immortal GU in the killer move. Thus, even though a GU Immortal may have the Immortal GU version of a certain GU, that did not mean they did not need the Mortal version as well. Secondly, Fang Yuan's attempt succeeded because his Water Path attainment had reached Grandmaster level. Pulling Water GU might be a Strength Path GU worm, but it was also related to Water Path. All along, even though Fang Yuan was a Strength Path Grandmaster, he could not deduce the recipe of Pulling Water Mortal GU. Now that his Water Path attainment level reached Grandmaster, he did not even need to deduce it, he could instinctively detail the Mortal GU recipe. Everything happened naturally. Water Path Grandmaster. Fang Yuan started to feel the benefits from many aspects. Not just GU recipes, there were also killer moves. Fang Yuan had a lot of Water Path accumulations in his 500 years of life, he had Water Path killer moves and Water Path GU recipes. Now that he recalled these details, he had a brand new sensation and deeper understanding. This was an incredible feeling that could not be described with words. Formerly, he was standing below the tower, observing the bricks of the tower. But now, he was at the top of the tower, the sights were completely different. Even though my attainment level rose drastically and it cannot be evaluated easily in material terms, my strength has grown immensely. Especially when I already had 5 Grandmaster attainment levels, the paths of these Grandmaster attainment levels can work together and influence each other, forming an even greater benefit for me. No wonder everyone went after Dream Realms so desperately in my previous life. Fang Yuan recalled, back then, his focus was placed on his blood path cultivation. Of course, he had reasons for that. Firstly, Fang Yuan's circumstances were not good at that time, he constantly faced strong enemies, he needed great battle strength. Secondly, Fang Yuan knew nothing about Dream Realms, he did not have exploration methods like Unravel Dream, exploring Dream Realms was a huge risk that he did not need to take. Thirdly, as Fang Yuan recalled his memories now, Heaven's will quite likely was interfering in the circumstances. When Fang Yuan was about to further explore his Water Path Grandmaster attainment level, and see what benefits he had obtained, Wu Clan finally sent a rank 7 GU Immortal over. This GU Immortal brought Wu Clan's instructions, as well as the Immortal GU that Fang Yuan borrowed from Wu Clan. Fang Yuan quickly completed the trade, leaving the Super GU formation. He flew northeast without stopping. Just now, the excuse he gave to Wu Yong was that he had personal reasons to return to Eastern Sea alone. Everyone had their own secrets, if it were an ordinary Wu Clan GU Immortal, Wu Yong would investigate further. But this was Wu Yihai, even if Wu Yong asked, he would likely not get an answer. Thus, he wisely chose not to pursue it. Fang Yuan went through the regional wall and arrived in Eastern Sea, he found a nameless sea area and placed his immortal aperture, resting temporarily. During this period, he stayed inside the sovereign immortal aperture and practiced his killer moves, getting familiar with his new immortal GU. The closer he got to the crucial time, the more steady Fang Yuan was. He decided to use this chance to kill Ying Wuxie, and eliminate this threat, he wanted to prepare amply. When Fang Yuan saw that the time was ripe, he stored his immortal aperture and prepared to move, executing his plan that had been set for a long time. Qi Luck Sensation. Fang Yuan had just activated this killer move, when, out of his expectations, he found that Ying Wuxie and the rest had left southern border, returning to Eastern Sea. Good, it will be easier for me to strike in Eastern Sea. Fang Yuan had no hesitations, he flew to the sky, towards his targets. Ying Wuxie and the rest were flying above the sea. Bai Ningbing was flying with them. Their relationship had changed, she was an equal ally now. A few days ago, Ying Wuxie took out Yang Jiyu, curbing Bai Ningbing's killing intent. Ying Wuxie used this chance to seek cooperation with Bai Ningbing. But Bai Ningbing was not the same as before, she expressed that she would rather give up Yang Jiyu to kill Ying Wuxie and gang. Ying Wuxie spoke with a glib tongue, by listing the problems involved, he managed to convince Bai Ningbing to establish a new alliance agreement with him. Bai Ningbing got back Yang Jiyu, she knew that Fang Yuan had the upper extreme heavenly eagle and was a big threat. At this time, it was not wise to stay in Baishang Grotto Heaven. Because of the upper extreme heavenly eagle, Fang Yuan could easily enter the Grotto Heaven. If Bai Ningbing and the rest stayed in Baishang Grotto Heaven, they instead would give Fang Yuan clues to find it. At this time, Bai Ningbing looked at the blue sea as she frowned, transmitting secretly, Ying Wuxie, you said that you have a way to deal with Fang Yuan, but we are all the way in Eastern Sea now, and are still traveling. What method is it? Say it directly. Ying Wuxie laughed. To deal with a rank 8, we need another rank 8 existence. Eastern Sea is not our destination, we are going to Northern Plains. You mean Shadow Sect's remnant force in Northern Plains still has a rank 8 existence? HMPH, bullshit. Bai Ningbing snorted in disdain. If they had rank 8 battle strength, why did they not use it in Yitian Mountain? Ying Wuxie smiled bitterly, the timing was not right. And the timing is right now. It is a great opportunity now, Northern Plains and Central Continent are engaging in battle over fortune rivaling heaven. By going to Northern Plains now, we are heading towards the center of the commotion, snowy mountain blessed land. Taking fortune rivaling heaven, using the rank 8 battle strength to kill Fang Yuan, and take back the sovereign immortal body. Ying Wuxie laughed as he said this, turning around to look behind him. Hey, he is coming. Chapter 1249, Reappearance of Ghost Face. While speaking, Ying Wuxie felt the luck on top of his head shaking intensely. Earlier, Fang Yuan elevated Qi Luck Sensation greatly, even if Ying Wuxie hid inside an immortal aperture, he could not evade detection. But Ying Wuxie was not someone who passively waited for death, he thought about it and decided to make use of this. Previously, he had tried to conceal himself and his aura. Now that this was not possible, Ying Wuxie decided to strengthen the luck sensation instead. Everyone had their luck connected. Fang Yuan could use this to activate Qi luck sensation and find them. Then Ying Wuxie could also do the reverse. Thus, Ying Wuxie had researched a brand new Ji-Yu worm combination recently to use his own luck's vibration to deduce his distance from Fang Yuan. Ying Wuxie named this immortal killer move luck vibration distance. This way, Fang Yuan's familiar face could not be used, it could not deal with Ying Wuxie's methods. Ying Wuxie was a split soul of spectral soul, even though he lost his memories, after getting replenishment inside the river of time, he did not lack attainment level. Attainment level was the most important thing. Precisely because of Thing, Ying Wuxie could think of new Ji-Yu worm combinations at any time, to deal with all sorts of situations. Of course he had to have enough attainment level, and the creation needed to be given time for experimentation and practice. Get into formation. We will use the tactic we discussed to repel Fang Yuan. Sensing that Fang Yuan was getting close, Ying Wuxie ordered this. The 5 Ji-Yu immortals stopped moving, assembling their formation. After successfully convincing Bai Ningbing to join the alliance, Bai Ningbing's inheritance in Baishang Grotto Heaven also caused Ying Wuxie's group to rise greatly in strength. This immortal level Ji-Yu formation was the powerful method used to trap Ying Wuxie and gang earlier. Now, Fang Yuan was going to be the one facing it. He's here, Bai Ningbing suddenly said. She was the owner of Baishang Grotto Heaven, her wealth rose drastically, she had very useful immortal Ji-Yu and her investigative methods were far superior than before. She surpassed Ying Wuxie, He Lulan, and the others, becoming the first person to notice Fang Yuan's traces. The other 4 immortals looked at where she directed, only to see that waves were forming at the southern sea area. A sword dragon was moving its body, flying past the clouds nimbly. Its sharp dragon horn was piercing towards the sky, its scales were shining with silver light, its dragon claws were sinister and sharp, its dragon teeth were glowing with an eerie cold light. Ying Wuxie and the rest were ready to face this strong foe. Bai Ningbing took a step forward. Do you dare to enter our formation? Fang Yuan saw Bai Ningbing. Even though she was a dragon lady now and was even more beautiful than before, her overall appearance was still similar. Fang Yuan was slightly stunned. He did not think that he would meet Bai Ningbing under such circumstances. In fact, Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing had not met for a long time. Even during the Battle of Yitian Mountain, Bai Ningbing was not involved too deeply, they did not meet. After 3 Kings' blessed land, Bai Ningbing betrayed him and Fang Yuan separated from her, until now when they met again. But everything had changed already. The 2 surviving young Ji-Yu masters from Qingmao Mountain were now Ji-Yu immortals. Bai Ningbing, who was known as a genius with a bleak future, possessing one of the 10 extreme physiques, Northern Dark Ice Soul physique, had become a rank 6 Dragonman Ji-Yu immortal and owned Baishang Grotto Heaven. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan's experiences were even more bountiful. He had first become the owner of Hu Immortal Blessed Land, and after causing havoc in northern plains and destroying 88 Truyong building an imperial court Blessed Land, he went to Eastern Sea, Central Continent, and Western Desert. Eventually, he appeared during the Battle of Yitian Mountain and took away the fruit of Shadow Sect's 100,000 years of preparation, Sovereign Immortal Fetus Ji-Yu. Using this immortal Ji-Yu, Fang Yuan's cultivation level rose like a rocket, he grew at an unthinkable speed, being a rank 7 Ji-Yu immortal already. Using Dream Realms, he even became a Grandmaster in 6 paths. The 2 were known as the Black and White Demons during their time in Southern Border as Ji-Yu Masters. They had worked closely together, but this time, their reunion was as enemies. Good, I will kill you as well. Fang Yuan was filled with killing intent, he roared as he shot out his dragon breath. The white dragon breath was extremely sharp, as a bright light, it traveled rapidly and reached Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing did not dodge, she smiled lightly. At the next moment, the sword-like dragon breath landed on an invisible wall of light, dealing no damage to her. The Ji-Yu formation able to trap Ying Wuxie and the others was naturally not simple. Ji-Yu formation, Fang Yuan thought. At this point, he did not have many ideas. Formation path. Fang Yuan had little knowledge about formation path, even during the 500 years of his previous life, it was like this. To break the Ji-Yu formation, he either needed to have formation path attainment or use wisdom path deductions. Fang Yuan was a wisdom path grandmaster, but he lacked a useful wisdom path immortal Ji-Yu that could deduce the flaw in this Ji-Yu formation. It would not be easy. The sword dragon flew in the sky, observing without advancing. Ying Wuxie and the rest were inside the Ji-Yu formation, awaiting Fang Yuan's attack. At once, Fang Yuan was filled with thoughts on how to deal with this situation. The other party set up a GU formation. This means that they cannot conceal their traces, but are already able to find out my location. In the probing earlier, it can be seen that this GU formation is not simple at all. Since they set up this formation, they must have confidence in dealing with me. A broken ship is still better than a plank. After such a short time, Ying Wuxie already possesses such a method. Fang Yuan did not attack rashly. He could not decipher this GU formation. He would have to be an idiot to charge in recklessly. But there was a possibility that Bai Ningbing and gang were putting up a front. This GU formation might be weak on the inside and only strong against a direct attack. Thus, Fang Yuan had to continue probing. While Fang Yuan and Ying Wuxie's group were fighting, inside Black Heaven. Inside the spaceless tunnel, 3 immortal GU houses were traveling slowly. Myriad Tidal Dragon had already woken up. He looked at the scene inside the spaceless tunnel as he sighed. Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's method is truly unthinkable. He has already vanished for so long, but this immortal killer move created 300,000 years ago can still be used effectively. If I was not experiencing this myself, I would not believe it. Wei Lingyang smiled. All right, since you are awake, we will not stay any longer, let's go. It turned out that the Central Continent GU Immortals could have left the spaceless tunnel long ago, but they purposely stayed inside to wait for Myriad Tidal Dragon to wake up. Myriad Tidal Dragon had used an immortal killer move to escape and fell into slumber. After he woke up, Central Continent's GU Immortals regained their full strength with 3 rank 8 GU Immortals. The 3 immortal GU houses moved quickly. This was the final bit of distance in the spaceless tunnel. Central Continent's GU Immortals were enthusiastic. They were focused and awaiting the future battles. Hong Yun, hang on, I am coming. Zhao Lianyun's eyes shone with determination as she prepared herself mentally. But right at the final part of the tunnel, a change occurred. A giant ghost face suddenly appeared, obstructing the 3 immortal GU houses, completely blocking the entire spaceless tunnel. What is going on? This is Spectral Soul Demon Venerables. The 3 rank 8 GU Immortals were still shocked when the ghost face opened its mouth, roaring without emitting a sound. As it roared, the entire spaceless tunnel started to collapse. Countless Dalmark fragments of the spaceless tunnel flew everywhere. A terrifying space crack spread out like a spider web. Crack. With a loud sound, the Central Continent GU Immortals found that the tunnel that they were in broke into countless pieces, like a shattered mirror. Defend! Myriad Tidal Dragon shouted. Hang on! Bai Chentian and Wei Lingyang activated their immortal GU houses to their limits. However, even the 3 immortal GU houses were weak and fragile, as if they were planks facing a tsunami. There was nothing they could do. At once, the 3 immortal GU houses which had been together were separated and scattered by the space path chaotic currents. A giant hole suddenly formed. It was like a huge beast's mouth, devouring everything around it. Myriad Tidal Dragon controlled Canary Pavilion. He did not even last several breaths of time before this hole devoured it, vanishing without a trace. Wind-sweeping building and edge-linked camp were hanging on desperately. Edge-linked camp was like a bun getting shaved layer after layer by the space path Dalmark fragments. Wind-sweeping building was also breaking apart. The powerful immortal GU houses looked so fragile here. Spaceless Tunnel was Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's immortal killer move. Together with Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's methods, there was the power of 2 Demon Venerables here. The Central Continent GU Immortals did not expect that the Spaceless Tunnel shortcut they were using was a fatal trap. 300,000 years ago, when the medieval antiquity era's Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable traveled in Black Heaven, he left behind Spaceless Tunnel. Next, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable failed to refine Love GU and left behind many methods. Then in Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's era, he seemed to have noticed the former's plan, or because of some other reason, he left behind an immortal killer move here as well. Duke Long did not understand these Venerable's secrets. Even Fairy Ziwei could not deduce such a thing. Right now, the Central Continent GU Immortals were facing the threat of getting wiped out. Am I going to die? Will I die here? No, no, I need to save Hong Yun. How can I die here? Help me, please help me, Love GU. Zhao Lianyun cried out in her heart. As if sensing her unwavering love and determination, Love Immortal GU started to shine with an immensely bright light in her phantom aperture. This light spread out with Zhao Lianyun at the center. Boom! Wind-sweeping building had completely broken apart. The GU Immortals were screaming loudly, activating their defenses. But many people did not last for even a few breaths of time before they were cut into pieces by the space path chaotic storm. Only Zhao Lianyun was covered in a thin layer of light, completely protected. Not just that, This layer of light was expanding to the 4 people around her. A hole formed before Zhao Lianyun's eyes. At the next moment, Love Gu emitted a strong force and entered the hole with Zhao Lianyun and the other 4 Gu immortals. Their vision changed. Where is this? Zhao Lianyun realized that she was standing on firm ground. This is naturally snowy mountain blessed land. A voice said. Chapter 1250. Inside and outside the formation. Snowy mountain blessed land, Zhao Lianyun cried out in surprise. She raised her head and saw a female Gu immortal in front of her. This person was lying on a cloud bed. She wore a silk dress, she had an ordinary appearance but her blue hair was extremely eye-catching, it was like a river that flowed from her head down to the cloud bed and covered the surface. The female immortal saw that Zhao Lianyun's emotions were not a facade, and asked, finding it somewhat strange, "It seems you 5 did not intentionally barge into snowy mountain blessed land." 5. Zhao Lianyun looked around her, and only then did she find she was in a large hall and she was not alone, there were 4 of her Gu immortal companions from earlier. The 4 also woke up around the same time. Zhao Lianyun had just recently become a Gu immortal, but she essentially recognized these 4 Gu immortal companions. The most familiar one was Bu Zhen. He was a supreme elder of Spirit Affinity House, a rank 7 Gu immortal who was tasked to protect Zhao Lianyun. Yu Yi, this young handsome Gu immortal came from Ancient Soul Sect, although his cultivation was only rank 6, he had a high refinement path attainment and was widely acknowledged for it. Shi Zhengyi was similarly a young man, with thick eyebrows and large eyes. He had been at the top floor of wind-sweeping building with Zhao Lianyun just earlier, and although Zhao Lianyun had not talked with Shi Zhengyi, she had seen his father who had become blind from the blind fire, this gave her a deep impression. The final one was someone Zhao Lianyun did not know and it was the first time she had seen him. However, Shi Zhengyi clearly knew this person, he immediately ran to this person's side and greeted, "Senior Muling Lan, how did we appear here?" This person was Muling Lan, a water path Gu immortal coming from Spirit Butterfly Valley and having rank 7 cultivation. "I am also baffled. Space suddenly shattered and threw you 5 out." The female immortal spoke lightly, "Entering snowy mountain blessed land without permission, I am still waiting for you people to clear my doubts." "Snowy mountain blessed land, this place is snowy mountain blessed land." Shi Zhengyi called out. He looked outside the window and saw the snowy white world outside, and in the distance were more than 10 snowy peaks standing loftily. At the same time, Shi Zhengyi discovered he was currently in a hall on one of the snowy peaks. Central Continent's Gu immortals quickly reacted. Bu Zhen ran to Zhao Lianyun's side, tensely looking at the female immortal before them. "If I am not wrong, you are Snowy Mountain Blessed Land's 9th Peak Lord, Hair Mistress." "Snowy Mountain Blessed Land Hongyun is here." Zhao Lianyun's eyes let out bright light. The female immortal straightened her upper body, revealing a solemn and nervous expression. "So you really came for Ma Hongyun?" "That's right, hand over Ma Hongyun." Zhao Lianyun shouted. Hair Mistress took a deep glance at Zhao Lianyun. "Ma Hongyun is not at my place, if you want to find him, you probably need to charge to the first peak. But that peak has Lady Wanshou and old ancestor Shui who staying guard, you 5 probably won't even be able to make a ripple." "Where there is a will, there is a way." Shi Zhengyi told with clenched fists. "Even if I die here, I am going to save Hongyun." Zhao Lianyun was resolute. Muling Lan took a few steps forward. "As 5 are only the first to reach here, there are still rank 8 Gu immortals behind us. Although your snowy mountain blessed land has the territorial advantage, you only have 1 rank 8 Gu immortal in the end." Muling Lan was bluffing. In truth, the outcome of the Gu immortals who remained in the spaceless tunnel bode ill rather than well. It might be that the only people who were saved were their group of 5. Relying on Love Gu's power and under Zhao Lianyun's obsession, the 5 Gu immortals directly arrived at Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. Hair Mistress's expression slightly changed. She was only a rank 6 Gu immortal, while the group before her had the numerical advantage and there were also 2 rank 7s present. Snowy Mountain Blessed Land had a total of 15 snowy peaks. Hair Mistress was at the 9th peak. She had never expected her peace would abruptly be broken, and 5 Gu immortals would appear in front of her without any warning. "I will be the main attacker, the rest of you retreat to the back." Muling Lan secretly transmitted his voice, he shouldered responsibility and stepped forward. Hair Mistress saw things going awry, quickly stretching her arm. "Wait, we are friends, not enemies." "What do you mean?" Bu Zhen stopped the eager Muling Lan. "Hair Mistress, you think I will willingly lay down my life for old ancestor Shui Hu?" For his own private interests, old ancestor Shui who forcibly commanded us to gather immortal materials, we have suffered a lot but are helpless in front of old ancestor Shui who's might. As a matter of fact, I had already wanted to surrender and was thinking of when Northern Plains Righteous Path GU Immortals would attack, but I had never expected the ones to come would be all of you from Central Continent. I don't want to fight with you, you want to find trouble with old ancestor Shui who, I welcome you to do so. It was like that. Bu Gen Z and Muling Lan glanced at each other with some doubts. Hair Mistress continued. Since you are attacking Snowy Mountain, you must have gathered relevant information. I won't hide from you, there is already discord within the members of Snowy Mountain. Old ancestor Shui who has become crazy in his desire to refine fortune rivaling heaven immortal GU and completely disregarded the feelings of us, the Snowy Peak Lords. Regretfully, we are under his control and cannot rebel, we can only wait for external forces to help us. Central Continent's 5 GU Immortals did not speak, they had not expected such a development. Muling Lan spoke. Since you want to surrender, just this information won't be enough. Join our ranks and then we can be sure of your sincerity. Hair Mistress smiled bitterly. If I could attack, I would have already rebelled. You do not have to probe, would you believe me even if I joined you? There is not only one way to help you, I am willing to tell you of the defense arrangements of Snowy Mountain. Oh, speak. Muling Lan nodded. Hair Mistress gazed at the 5 immortals in front of her, before speaking slowly. Old ancestor Shui who has recklessly modified Snowy Mountain blessed land to refine fortune rivaling heaven immortal GU. Not long ago, he invited Sun Minglu to arrange a super GU formation here. This super GU formation is extremely powerful. With the Snowy Peak Lords as the formation cores, it links to Reverse Flow River. The invaders have to charge through each peak. And the peak lords guarding each snowy peak would receive the GU formation's amplification. Rank 6 cultivation can display rank 7 strength. On the other hand, the charging GU immortal would be greatly suppressed. With this contrast of strengthening and weakening, every snowy peak is a difficult hurdle. Even if rank 8 GU immortals come, unless they can destroy this GU formation, they will have to spend some time in here. How do we know if your information is true or false? Muling Lan asked. Hair Mistress smiled bitterly again. All my words are true, if you don't believe, you can test me. Good. Muling Lan flicked his sleeve, and a wave of water appeared in the air and rushed towards Hair Mistress. Hair Mistress did not panic, she slightly willed and a strand of hair suddenly sprang up, turning into a dam that blocked the wave. Muling Lan frowned, he saw through the issue with one attack, and did not make another move. The other 4 Central Continent Immortals looked at each other. Just like Hair Mistress said, she could display rank 7 battle strength here, while Muling Lan himself was a rank 7 GU Immortal, but his attack was weakened greatly. His powerful offensive method was actually blocked easily by Hair Mistress. This GU formation is too powerful, Shi Zhengyi exclaimed in shock. Bu Gen Z directly questioned, then where is the flaw of this GU formation? Hair Mistress shook her head. I am not familiar with this GU formation, but over these days of feeling around, I have some experiences that I can tell all of you. First of all, the GU formation isolates what is inside from outside, you cannot even connect to Treasure Yellow Heaven. Currently, only old ancestor Shui who can contact a Snowy Peak Lords, while the Snowy Peak Lords cannot communicate with each other. Secondly, each Snowy Peak Lord is a formation core of the GU formation, we can seemingly only defend from our main halls at the peak and are unable to leave our peak. This point is my guess, but it should be pretty accurate. Finally it is time for you guys to die. Hair Mistress's expression suddenly changed, her blue hair suddenly rose up to entangle the 5 GU Immortals. Muling Lan was vigilant the whole time, instantly flying out of the hall. With Bu Gen Z's help, Zhao Lianyun was also able to escape. Inside the hall, the dense blue hair quickly wrapped around Shi Zhengyi and Yu Yizi, forming 2 thick blue cocoons. Treacherous witch! Attack! Muling Lan was alarmed and furious. Before he spoke, Bu Gen Z and Zhao Lianyun had already attacked. Rumble! The 9th snowy peak emitted thunderous noises. The battle had instantly started. Eastern Sea, dragon breaths that resembled white sword lights shot at the GU formation, shaking the whole GU formation. Fang Yuan is too careful, he is not entering the GU formation, what do we do now? Bai Ningbing asked Ying Wuxie. Ying Wuxie sighed, transmitting his voice. I had planned to use this super GU formation to match against Fang Yuan's upper extreme heavenly eagle, and probe his exact strength. Who could have expected him to only attack from afar, not giving us any opportunity at all? A concealed sword was the most terrifying. Fang Yuan naturally could rely on the upper extreme heavenly eagle to move through space and get inside the GU formation. But if he did so, he would be revealing the fact that his upper extreme heavenly eagle only had rank 6 power. How could Fang Yuan reveal his own weakness? Although we have the GU formation's protection and are secure, Fang Yuan has the initiative. He is using a transformation path killer move, while we are using the super GU formation, our immortal essence is expending at an extremely fast rate. Bai Ningbing spoke. Shi Nu requested to battle. Why don't I go out to battle and lure him in? Bai Ningbing disdainfully sneered. Fang Yuan is a crafty old scoundrel, how could he be provoked by you and rashly enter the GU formation? Shi Nu furiously glared at Bai Ningbing. Then what do you think we should do? Forget it. Ying Wuxie spoke. Wait for me to make some arrangements and leave behind a cover to confuse him. We will then quietly use the ancient battle formation omnidirectional travel to leave this place. As long as we make haste, we will reach Northern Plains and meet with the rank 8 GU Immortal. That would be the time to turn around and deal with Fang Yuan. Bai Ningbing's expression was heavy. You asked me to arrange this GU formation only to give it up. Forget about the mortal GU, but you want me to give up the immortal GU used in it as well. Chapter 1251, Hair Mistress Battle. These are just a few immortal GU, so what? Ying Wuxie spoke in a profound voice, as long as our plan succeeds, all your losses can be compensated. Being able to let go is the mark of a wise person. Moreover, we are not just abandoning them senselessly, instead we are leaving them behind to confuse the enemy and get some precious time for ourselves. Bai Ningbing snorted. Why do I feel like you are intentionally weakening my strength? You are thinking too much. The enemy is outside, you can also choose to stay behind and personally control this GU formation to help us delay the enemy. Ying Wuxie glanced at Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing's eyes flickered with sharp light, before finally nodding. I shall go with your plan then. It was not that she did not want to fight by herself, but facing such a powerful Fang Yuan, she did not have any confidence in winning. Northern Plains, Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. 9th Peak. Central Continent's group of 5 immortals were plotted against by Hair Mistress, they were all wrapped around like cocoons by her blue hair. What killer move is this? My immortal essence is rapidly being consumed. Ah, Yu Yizi suddenly shouted, his whole body suddenly burned with bright flames. But the fire was actually not able to burn the blue hair, instead, large amounts of water vapor emerged from the hair, drenching Yu Yizi. My fire is earth furnace fire, even melting rank 7 GU material only is a matter of minutes, but it actually cannot burn even a single strand of this hair. Yu Yizi was extremely shocked. Ha ha ha, it is useless. My move is blue hair constriction, the longer the time taken to activate it, the stronger it becomes. Ever since old ancestor Shui Hu began refining fortune rivaling heaven immortal GU, I have been activating this immortal killer move without stopping. Just think of it and you will know how long a time it has been. Hair Mistress lay down on her bed again, laughing heartily. Moreover, I did not completely lie to you. Snowy Mountain Blessed Land is indeed already covered in a super GU formation, my battle strength has reached rank 7 in here, while all of you have been weakened. Surrender obediently and allow yourself to be captured, maybe you will still have a chance for survival. HMPH, you are too simple-minded. Right at this time, an illusory shadow flew out of a blue cocoon. The hair cocoon was not damaged at all, but this phantom figure had strangely passed through the cocoon. The figure shortly turned from phantom to solid, it was none other than Spirit Affinity House's rank 7 GU Immortal. BU Gen Z, Hair Mistress's expression sank. So there was a phantom path GU Immortal, no wonder you can escape my blue hair constriction. While she spoke, a huge amount of blue hair shot out from the ground, hard as needles, supple as snakes, and shot towards BU Gen Z. BU Gen Z smiled brightly, you are still too inexperienced to be able to hurt me. He again turned into phantom form, this time entering another blue cocoon. The GU Immortal inside this cocoon was Zhao Lianyun. Right now, she was activating her immortal killer move to guard against the cutting and strangling of the blue hair. BU Gen Z came to her side suddenly, giving Zhao Lianyun a fright at first. I will count to 3, deactivate your defenses and follow me. BU Gen Z put his hand on her shoulder, as he instructed this. Zhao Lianyun thought, if I stop my defensive killer move, would I not be shred into pieces by the blue hair? However, she thought again, BU Gen Z would absolutely not deceive her, and decided to believe in him. At the next moment, she let go of her defense and stopped activating her defensive method, the blue hair immediately moved towards her, but Zhao Lianyun had already turned into phantom form. Then, both phantoms rushed out of the blue hair cocoon. Hair Mistress finally paled with fright. Bu Gen Z cultivated phantom path, it was normal for him to be able to turn into phantom. But it was unusual to be able to turn others into phantom as well, and even being able to affect those he had turned into phantom. Phantom path GU immortals were very few in number, Bu Gen Z was no doubt an exceptional talent among them. It was because of these methods that Spirit Affinity House was confident in him being able to ensure Zhao Lianyun's safety. After Bu Gen Z rescued Zhao Lianyun, he repeated the same thing, rescuing the other three. The 5 Central Continent GU immortals then started to surround and attack Hair Mistress. However, even with 1 against 5, Hair Mistress was not at a disadvantage. Blue hair coiled around her whole body, dancing around like snakes and at times, standing up like a wall, as it dissolved all the offenses of the 5 GU immortals. She clearly has only rank 6 cultivation, but actually has rank 7 battle strength. I have also found there are indeed traces of a super GU formation in Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. Get out of my way, let me attack. Mu Ling Lan moved away from the 4 immortals, and activated his immortal killer move. Howl, wolf howls resounded, 3 giant light blue water wolves appeared from thin air and charged towards Hair Mistress while brandishing their teeth and claws. Hair Mistress's hair wall was broken again and again, and was unable to stop the water wolves' offense. She quickly rose up and broke out of the ceiling into the air. The 5 Central Continent GU immortals immediately flew up to give chase. Hair Mistress soon fell into a passive state. Although her battle strength was rather strong, Zhao Lianyun's side had the numerical advantage. Hair Mistress's offense lowered as she started to defend more, most of her blue hair was destroyed, the remainder had curled up into a ball that firmly protected her. This immortal killer move is truly terrifying, it can absorb and release energy. A portion of our immortal killer moves are absorbed by it and released back against us. Even my snake wave stab cannot pierce through this hair ball. Mu Ling Lan was solemn. Bu Gen Z suddenly transmitted his voice to Mu Ling Lan. Mu Ling Lan's expression shook. Let's try again then. He accumulated energy for a while before suddenly pointing out his right index finger towards the continuously revolving blue hair ball. At the next moment, a water snake half a foot long flew out from his fingernail. The small snake was lifelike, completely formed from water and was deep blue in color. The water snake was extremely fast, but right now, under Mu Ling Lan's control, it intentionally flew slowly. At this moment, Bu Gen Z suddenly used his immortal killer move, turning the water snake into phantom. The water snake was easily able to pass through the hair ball and appeared in front of Hair Mistress. Hair Mistress turned pale from the shock, quickly activating her second defensive killer move. But the water snake turned into solid, breaking open Hair Mistress's defense and piercing straight into her heart. Hair Mistress gave a sharp screech as her soul escaped out of her body. The hair ball detonated, a huge number of short hairs shot out everywhere like sharp arrows. Central Continent's 5 immortals could only concentrate on defending themselves, and let Hair Mistress' soul escape. We won. Hair Mistress is dead, only her soul is left now. Shi Zhengyi was extremely excited. Good teamwork. Bu Gen Z and Mu Ling Lan looked at each other and smiled. These 2 rank 7 GU immortals had made the biggest contributions in defeating Hair Mistress. First, Bu Gen Z rescued them from the cocoons, then Mu Ling Lan was the main attacker. Yu Yizi, Zhao Lianyun and Shi Zhengyi were only supporting figures. The battle ended, the 9th peak turned silent. What should they do next? The 5 immortals discussed and soon came to a consensus. They would first retreat and wait for the other forces from Central Continent to arrive. With just the 5 of them, how could they go against the whole of Snowy Mountain? Forget about other GU immortals, just old ancestor Shui who alone was an opponent they could not beat. However, the 5 immortals found they were unable to leave this place. Snowy Mountain Blessed Land was a public blessed land, the whole blessed land was pieced together, its defense could not compare to a normal blessed land. But there was a super GU formation arranged here, even Bu Gen Z's phantom transformation method was of no use. Damn it, we don't have a formation path GU immortal among us. If we had a formation path great expert, maybe we could decipher the profundities of this GU formation. Mu Ling Lan wrung his hands in disappointment. There had been multiple formation path GU immortals specially mixed in among the Central Continent GU immortals sent. Unfortunately, because of the unexpected collapse of the spaceless tunnel, not even one formation path GU immortal was among this group of 5. The 5 Central Continent immortals helplessly found that even though they defeated Hair Mistress, her soul escaped, while they were trapped in the 9th snowy peak, unable to escape from this super GU formation. What should we do? They looked at each other, feeling great pressure. How could they not feel pressure? This was the enemy's base. The rank 8 GU immortal old ancestor Shui who could crush them with just his fingers. Did you all find something strange? We have already been here in snowy mountain blessed land for a while now, but no one has actually come. Yu Yizi suddenly spoke. The other 4 immortals had the same feeling. It is indeed strange. We have invaded snowy mountain blessed land and battled Hair Mistress. The commotion was huge, but besides Hair Mistress, no one else has appeared. Our fight with Hair Mistress was not a short one, but no other GU immortals came to reinforce her. Old ancestor Shui who did not appear, it could be because of a rank 8's pride. But the other GU immortals should have allied and besieged us, there is no way they are holding back now. Mu Ling Lan, Bu Gen Zi and Yu Yizi pondered over this, and felt it was odd. Right at this time, inside Zhao Lianyun's immortal aperture, Love GU suddenly activated, a powerful immortal GU aura rose from Zhao Lianyun's body. Such a majestic aura caused the other 4 immortals' expression to change. What a powerful aura! Is it a rank 9 immortal GU? I remember this aura appeared in the spaceless tunnel as well. So it was you who protected us. Mu Ling Lan, Yu Yizi and Shi Zhengyi stared at Zhao Lianyun, dumbfounded. Zhao Lianyun, however, did not have control over her body, her eyes had rolled back, showing her whites, her legs were a foot above the ground, her head was slightly raised, and she was emitting chuckling sounds. Don't disturb her, this is Love Gu's power. Bu Gen Zi quickly spoke. Love GU, Spirit Affinity House's signature immortal GU was actually brought here by Zhao Lianyun. The other 3 immortals were extremely shocked. Bu Gen Zi smiled bitterly, as he explained to them. After a while, Zhao Lianyun woke up. I know all the secrets of this GU formation now. The 4 immortals were joyous. This was because of Love GU. Mu Ling Lan's eyes were wide open. Zhao Lianyun nodded. Quickly explain it to us. Bu Gen Zi urged. Chapter 1252, Fate Reversing Sacrificial Refinement Formation. This formation is called Fate Reversing Sacrificial Refinement Formation. It was set up by Sun Ming Lu, using over 10 immortal GU. The crucial point is it irrigates the water of reverse flow river, thus it has extremely astonishing power. Zhao Lianyun explained in a heavy voice. Love immortal GU had activated of its own accord, using up large amounts of immortal essence in Zhao Lianyun's immortal aperture. It had all sorts of effects, and this time, it had let Zhao Lianyun directly obtain the origins and history of the fate-reversing sacrificial refinement formation. Reverse flow river. That legendary reverse flow river. Yu Yizi's eyes opened wide. Right, it is the reverse flow river recorded in less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than. Zhao Lianyun nodded. Less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than stated, Danghun Mountain, Luopo Valley and Reverse Flow River were the 3 obstacles inside the door of life and death. Back then, to save his eldest son, verdant great son, Ren Zhu had traveled to Obsession Death Domain but had failed. Ren Zhu could only pass through the 3 obstacles, to revive once again. In the end, Ren Zhu had passed Danghun Mountain and Luopo Valley, but had failed in Reverse Flow River. Reverse Flow River is a secluded domain of heaven and earth. Who could have thought it was in old ancestor Shuihu's hands? Bu Gen Zi sighed. Mu Ling Lan spoke. Supposedly, in the past, thieving heaven demon Venerable had relied on ghostly concealment to enter the door of life and death, and moved Danghun Mountain and Luopo Valley out, but was unable to take Reverse Flow River. I never expected Reverse Flow River to be taken by someone as well. Mu Ling Lan was a supreme elder of Spirit Butterfly Valley. This ancient sect was most skilled in information gathering, so Mu Ling Lan knew many secrets. This group of immortals soon accepted this fact. Since Danghun Mountain and Luopo Valley could be taken away, it was not that strange for Reverse Flow River to appear as well. The main thing now is how to break this fate-reversing sacrificial refinement formation. Bu Gen Zi emphasized. But Zhao Lianyun shook her head. It is almost impossible to break this formation. Even a rank 8 GU immortal will be trapped and not be able to extricate themselves. Although there are no rank 8 immortal GU used in this Super GU formation, this Super GU formation perfectly utilizes Reverse Flow River, which allows it to display endless might. Zhao Lianyun explained slowly while the other 4 immortals listened speechlessly, no longer having the intention to break the formation. This Super GU formation has completely remodeled Snowy Mountain Blessed Land, using the 15 snowy peaks as the formation cores to form a solid defense. If a GU immortal charges into the formation, they would be forcibly sent to different snowy peaks depending on their cultivation. If it was a rank 7 GU Immortal, they would be sent to the snowy peaks with rank 7 GU Immortals to fight. If it was a rank 8 GU Immortal, they would be sent to Old Ancestor Shuihu. Hair Mistress, words had some truth and some lies, and were not completely nonsense. The fate-reversing sacrificial refinement formation could indeed amplify the strength of the GU Immortal in the formation cores. It could let rank 6 GU Immortals have rank 7 might, and while it could not let rank 7 GU Immortals have rank 8 strength, there would still be a tremendous boost. Moreover, this fate-reversing sacrificial refinement formation also imitated Regret Pool, having some mysterious abilities of Time Path. The truly wicked thing was any GU Immortals that died within the formation would be considered as sacrificing their life to this formation, helping Lady Wan Shou, who was in the center of the formation, refine Ma Hong Yun. No wonder when we killed Hair Mistress, her body in immortal aperture turned into ashes and disappeared. Although her soul escaped, her soul must have already dispersed completely due to this formation. Who could have thought Sun Minglu could actually construct such a level of super GU formation? Such a powerful formation, even the 10 great ancient sects might not be able to match it. Sun Minglu is Northern Plains publicly recognized #1 formation path grandmaster. According to rumors, he has an unyielding nature and highly values ties of friendship. He did not associate himself with the demonic path. Earlier, Old Ancestor Shuihu had put down his pride and invited him repeatedly, but Sun Minglu did not yield to such an expert. In the end, he was touched by Old Ancestor Shuihu's love for Lady Wan Shou, and helped Lady Wan Shou construct a refinement path GU formation. But from the looks of it now, creating such a wicked refinement path GU formation, this Sun Minglu is not a good person. The Central Continent GU Immortals discussed. That means, if we go out of this snowy peak, we will be forcefully separated and have to fend for ourselves. Bu Gen Z asked. Zhao Lianyun nodded. It should be the case. We appeared here because of Love Immortal Gu's strength. Love GU was a rank 9 Immortal GU, its might surpassed the whole Super GU formation, so it could make the 5 GU Immortals appear at the 9th snowy peak together. However, right now, Love GU did not activate. This group of 5 would be separated by the GU formation once they stepped out of the range of this snowy peak. Bu Gen Z frowned deeply. This was extremely bad news. He was given the task to escort Zhao Lianyun, to protect Zhao Lianyun as well as Love GU. But now, this Super GU formation would separate them, and there was nothing he could do. How about this, Fairy Lianyun, enter my immortal aperture. I don't believe this Super GU formation can influence my immortal aperture. Bu Gen Z hesitated before making up his mind. The immortal aperture of a GU Immortal was their greatest secret, and normally they would not let others enter. However, Bu Gen Z knew the significance of this matter and decided to make a sacrifice, letting Zhao Lianyun in. They could only do this. Because Zhao Lianyun did not have a true immortal aperture, hers was a phantom aperture. Heavenly Court's phantom aperture had advantages as well as disadvantages. A disadvantage was that it could only store immortal essence, GU worms and will, but could not be managed and developed like normal immortal apertures. It also had to be replenished at set intervals of time and could not last forever. An advantage was that it could store immortal GU of any rank, just like Zhao Lianyun currently could store Love GU, and not have to worry about this rank 9 immortal GU bursting the immortal aperture. However, after attempting it, Central Continent's GU Immortals found that they could not even open the entrance to their immortal apertures. Clearly, Sun Minglu had considered this issue when he constructed this Super GU formation. This flaw was not in the GU formation. The GU Immortals fell into an awkward situation. They had gotten rid of Hair Mistress, but they themselves were trapped here. But there was good news, they did not need to worry about any reinforcements or the rank 8 Old Ancestor Shuihu making a move against them. Because in this Super GU formation, each snowy peak lord guarded one peak, and could not leave it. Any rank 8 GU Immortals whom invaded Snowy Mountain Blessed Land could not fight rank 6 or rank 7 Snowy Peak Lords, and could only fight Old Ancestor Shuihu. This rule restricted Old Ancestor Shuihu as well. Old Ancestor Shuihu could not make things difficult for rank 6 and rank 7 invaders. The reason for this rule came from Reverse Flow River. Humans aspired to move up the social ladder, while water flowed downwards due to gravity. These were rules of the world. With rank 8 as the high point, and rank 7 and rank 6 as the low, the higher rank GU Immortals could only look for those of similar level or fight with stronger GU Immortals. In the whole GU formation, the first snowy peak was the highest point, the invaders must move on to other peaks and could not leave. This was the might of Reverse Flow River. Less than the legends of Ren Zhu greater than recorded that even Ren Zhu was not able to successfully emerge from the river. But this reverse flow river was, after all, only a secluded domain of heaven and earth. Sun Minglu used the plentiful Dao marks in this secluded domain to create the fate-reversing sacrificial refinement formation. And as the main parts of the formation, old ancestor Shuihu and the Snowy Peak Lords were also unable to go against this rule. If it was not reverse flow river, and was one or more other immortal GU, the GU immortals could control the formation by themselves and create an environment favorable to themselves, instead of being in such a rigid situation like now. But regardless, even though there was this flaw, Snowy Mountain Blessed Land was a solid fortress, easy to defend but hard to attack. With this GU formation helping him, it was no wonder that old ancestor Shuihu felt extremely confident and did not hide the commotion of refining fortune rivaling heaven GU. Even if he wanted to hide it, he might not necessarily be able to. The crucial thing was that he was not afraid of GU immortals attacking. Instead, he was even waiting for them, because the GU immortals who died in the GU formation, whether it be enemies or his own side, they would turn into fuel which would help him refine fortune rivaling heaven GU. Since that is the case, we might as well stay here and wait for the response from our reinforcements. Bu Gen Z suggested. This suggestion was approved by the other Central Continent GU immortals. They were now familiar with the details of this GU formation, but it was not of much use. Zhao Lianyun frowned, but she did not argue. After all, Ma Hongyun was at the first peak, that was the center of the GU formation, used to refine GU. Even if Zhao Lianyun and the group charged through the many snowy peaks and reached the first peak, they would have to face the rank 8 GU immortal old ancestor Shuihu. Black Heaven, Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace. We have discovered a small group. South Desolation Immortal breathed out deeply. Ah, where? Yao Huang asked. They actually ran right inside Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. Strange, South Desolation Immortal was uncertain. Although he knew Central Continent GU Immortals had entered the spaceless tunnel, he was not aware that an unexpected mishap had occurred in the spaceless tunnel. He had thought he could find the majority of Central Continent's forces, but he only discovered a small group. However, this discovery included Zhao Lianyun, an important person. Love Immortal GU. The reason South Desolation Immortal woke up was due to this. Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. Yao Huang frowned. Not all the Central Continent GU Immortals have appeared. South Desolation Immortal shook his head. Maybe this is their plan of luring enemies, but whether it be rank 8 GU Immortals or Immortal GU houses, there are none of them. Yao Huang's frown became deeper. Just like when Fang Yuan confronted Ying Wuxie, he did not take out the upper extreme heavenly eagle, but it had instead caused Ying Wuxie to be even more apprehensive. The situation of Yao Huang and South Desolation Immortal was largely similar. If the Central Continent GU Immortals had all appeared, they would be able to use all their strength to deal with them. However, only 5 people appeared, which instead caused South Desolation Immortal and Yao Huang to not understand what the Central Continent GU Immortals were planning. Was this some kind of sinister plot? Are they brewing some special plan? South Desolation Immortal thought about it before deciding. Let this group of Central Continent GU Immortals fight with Snowy Mountain Blessed Land first. The important thing is still the larger portion of the Central Continent group. Until this larger portion appears, we will just watch the events from the side. Okay, Yao Huang nodded, but was guessing inwardly. Lord South Desolation is aware about the situation inside Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. This is not Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace's ability. Does our side have an insider in Snowy Mountain Blessed Land? Chapter 1253, Courting Death. Eastern Sea. The sword dragon kept on breathing out sword light. Rays of white dragon breath struck the GU formation, causing the GU formation to truly sway. Something is not right. Ying Wuxie and the others are not fools. Their immortal essence expenditure while activating the super GU formation is far greater than mine. But they are actually maintaining the stalemate without retreating and letting me attack. Do they have some other plan? Fang Yuan was attacking furiously. Although he was not able to break the formation, he firmly held the initiative. Thoughts were surging in his mind and had not stopped even for a second. They should know I have the upper extreme heavenly eagle. Are they not afraid of me using the upper extreme heavenly eagle to penetrate space and enter the formation? Or is this GU formation a trap to deal with my upper extreme heavenly eagle? Or could it be that Sixth Hair has already learned from Langya Land Spirit that my upper extreme heavenly eagle is only an egg, thus they are not afraid? Wait, Fang Yuan suddenly stopped attacking, and dived inside the sea. While under the sea, he waited for a reaction from Ying Wuxie's group while activating an immortal killer move. Chi Luck Sensation. They are indeed all inside the GU formation. Fang Yuan relaxed. It seems I was thinking too much. Fang Yuan continued to attack the GU formation, but he gradually discovered the GU formation was only passively defending and there were no signs of Ying Wuxie, Bai Ningbing or the rest. Fang Yuan suddenly had a thought and stopped attacking again. Right now, he was holding the initiative, and he could choose freely whether to attack or not. On the other hand, the enemy was defending and in a very passive situation, not knowing when Fang Yuan would attack, and they had to maintain the GU formation all the time, which consumed their immortal essence. Fang Yuan stopped his offenses and besides maintaining the sword dragon transformation, he did not need to use up any immortal essence, thus his expenditure was even lesser. The silent confrontation lasted for an hour. Fang Yuan gradually realized the fishy situation. The GU formation was like a deep pool, and no commotion was visible inside. The enemy was actually firmly deciding on maintaining this stalemate with Fang Yuan. Ying Wuxie seems to have some other motive that requires the safe environment created by the GU formation. No matter what, I cannot let him continue smoothly, I should quickly take action and destroy the formation. It seems I can't continue to hide this trump card, I need to use it early. Ying Wuxie's plan had come into effect and Fang Yuan's Qi-Luck sensation was misled. But Fang Yuan still had sharp judgment regarding the situation, he firmly acted without hiding any trump cards. If it was earlier, Dragon Breath would be his strongest weapon, but it was different now. At the next moment, a dragon roar resounded over an enormous surrounding distance. Ancient battle formation, omnidirectional travel. Ying Wuxie's vision suddenly changed, and when his vision was stable, he was already at the regional wall. This was Eastern Sea's blue water regional wall, it was deep blue, and was like a giant screen that connected heaven and earth, expansive and boundless. The 4 GU immortals Tai Bai Yunsheng had entered He Lu Lan's immortal aperture, standing in front of the vast and mighty regional wall were as small as ants. Once they entered, the ancient battle formation could not be used and they could only move by themselves. Because using GU worms or immortal killer moves in the regional wall would shake their immortal apertures, the ancient battle formation would cause this even more and the backlash would be extremely big. Just as they were looking at the regional wall, Ying Wuxie's expression changed. Bai Ningbing also subconsciously looked back, her eyes letting out sharp light as she stared at the direction they came from. The GU formation has been broken. Bai Ningbing spoke in a heavy voice. So quickly, He Lu Lan was also moved. She thought of when she was trapped, and compared it to how quickly Fang Yuan had broken the formation. Even if she was inside and he was outside, it clearly showed his terrifying battle strength. Did he use the upper extreme heavenly eagle? He Lu Lan quickly thought of a possibility. No, Bai Ningbing shook her head. Fang Yuan had broken the GU formation, but did not discover anybody and was not able to obtain any GU worms. Once the GU formation was broken, the GU worms would all self-detonate. How could Bai Ningbing leave behind resources for the enemy? Although the losses were huge, the scene when Fang Yuan attacked had been shown to them. In a battle between GU immortals, information was a crucial and very important factor. Bai Ningbing, Ying Wuxie and the group naturally would not let go of such a good opportunity to gather information. Fang Yuan used a completely new killer move, it is probably a recent creation of his. Ying Wuxie spoke. This killer move is terrifyingly powerful. Bai Ningbing's expression was heavy. Unless we have a method which targets it, we won't be able to last a few breaths of time even if we combine our strengths. What? He Lu Lan took a sharp breath, even the silent and expressionless she knew was visibly terrified. Ying Wuxie knew the situation was far from good, he had arranged the formation and planned to delay for time. Although his plan succeeded, he had not expected it to delay him for just such a short period of time. They would have to spend some time in passing the regional wall. The crucial thing was that the nature of the sovereign immortal body made it so that the sovereign immortal body could travel through regional walls freely without any restriction. Ying Wuxie naturally already knew about this. The Super GU formation was forcefully broken. Fang Yuan has discovered we are not there. He will definitely use Qi-Luck sensation again and search for us. If we enter the regional wall, even if I consider the best case scenario, according to Fang Yuan's previous speed, he will certainly be able to catch up to us. We would then have to fight with him inside the regional wall. So, should I not enter this regional wall? Ying Wuxie began to let out cold sweat, his heart felt like it was pressed under an enormous weight. Ying Wuxie judged the situation, he clearly knew his side was already on the brink of life and death, even though they were not under attack right now, if they did not handle the following situation properly, they would be in danger of dying. And whether they could get out of this danger or not would depend on his plan. The heavy pressure weighed down on Ying Wuxia's shoulders. This did not concern only his survival, it also concerned the GU immortals beside him. Alright, Ying Wuxia did not care about the safety of the GU immortals beside him, he did not even fear his own death. But if he died, who would save the demon Venerable's main body? Shadow Sect was in ruins currently, he was the only hope left. How could this be? How could Fang Yuan's battle strength rise to such a level in such a short time? He cannot even use wisdom GU, how did he make deductions? Could it be that he gained some powerful wisdom path methods? Deducing immortal killer moves could not be done in a matter of days. Fang Yuan's trump card was too abrupt, catching Ying Wuxia off guard. I have already used up the method to confuse the enemy, if we enter the regional wall, we will definitely have to fight Fang Yuan. Our side is at a great disadvantage. Ying Wuxia was very clear on this, using immortal killer moves in the regional wall would cause backlash, but Fang Yuan did not have such a restriction. The 5 regional walls were the perfect places for him to fight. Even rank 8 GU immortals might be in a bad situation. Because when rank 8s entered the regional walls, they would face much more restriction than rank 6s or rank 7s. Naturally, rank 8 GU immortals moved through Black Heaven or White Heaven, and would not stupidly travel to and fro through the regional walls. If Ying Wuxia persisted on entering the regional wall, undoubtedly, he would be taking a huge risk. Fang Yuan had shown his trump card, even without counting the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle, just this trump card alone made Ying Wuxia feel he could not go against Fang Yuan. No, there is still Bai Ningbing. Ying Wuxia suddenly had a thought, secretly glancing at Bai Ningbing. He immediately felt the alliance was an extremely good decision. At the same time, he also felt some emotions, who could have thought he would actually have to rely on Bai Ningbing's strength at this moment. This was truly, what goes around comes around, the trajectory of fate had countless changes, he, the Grand Ying Wuxia, would actually have to rely on Bai Ningbing, who had been arranged as a pawn before. But how much strength does Bai Ningbing have? It has not been long since she inherited Bai Shang Grotto Heaven. Ying Wuxia did not have much confidence as he thought on it. He then thought, but if don't enter the regional wall now, we can only wander around in Eastern Sea. Omnidirectional travel is also not a method that can be used repeatedly and requires some time before it can be used again. If so, we will sooner or later be found by Fang Yuan. More importantly, this is Eastern Sea. All the GU immortals on my side are of other regions. Ying Wuxia's physical body was a Western Desert immortal zombie, Bai Ningbing was a Southern Border GU immortal, Tai Bai Yunsheng and He Lulan were from Northern Plains, and Shi Nu was from Central Continent. There was not one Eastern Sea GU immortal. Foreign region GU immortals would be marginalized in other regions and even be hunted. Although this was not too common in Eastern Sea, one should not forget that Fang Yuan was an Eastern Sea GU immortal. Sovereign immortal body, it could completely blend into any region and become a GU immortal of that region. When the time comes in which both sides battle, and Eastern Sea GU immortals appear, and Fang Yuan had the upper hand, it goes without saying that the Eastern Sea GU immortals would help Fang Yuan. Few people would provide help when one desperately needed it, but there were many who would add fuel to the fire. So if we stay in Eastern Sea, we might not only be facing Fang Yuan, but other Eastern Sea GU immortals as well. Ying Wuxia smiled bitterly. After experiencing many setbacks, he had matured immeasurably. Thinking through all elements comprehensively, it was incomparable to the past. Moreover, Fang Yuan still has the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle. We must go to Northern Plains. Snowy mountain blessed land is our only hope. We can use the rank 8 GU immortal to kill him. After considering everything, Ying Wuxia finally made a firm resolution and flew straight into the regional wall. Several hours later, a sword dragon flew over from far away. Trying to enter Northern Plains. This sword dragon was Fang Yuan's transformation. Everything was like Ying Wuxia expected. After he broke the GU formation, he did not discover any trace of Ying Wuxia and the rest. How would Fang Yuan not understand that the other side had made a ploy to escape? Fortunately, he had not hesitated to expose his trump card and forcibly destroyed the GU formation, otherwise, he would still be in the dark. It seems that although Qi Luck sensation can detect the target, it can also be misled. Then this target I am sensing, will it also be false? If it was false, Fang Yuan could do nothing about it, after all, this was his only clue. But if it was real, I can get rid of you all in the regional wall. All of you are actually traveling in the regional wall in front of me, you are courting death. Chapter 1254, Love Becomes the Problem. Waiting was often long and difficult to endure. Shi Zhengyi was unable to sit still, pacing back and forth in the large hall. Yu Yizi was sitting cross-legged on the ground with his eyes closed. He spoke with dissatisfaction. Can't you rest properly? Don't move back and forth. Shi Zhengyi yelled. I have already rested enough. Sigh, how long do we have to wait? Until the other group arrives. Bu Zhenzi spoke. If they don't come, do we continue waiting forever? Zhao Lianyun frowned. She was also somewhat impatient. When fighting with Hair Mistress, the 5 immortals were all wholeheartedly focused and did not feel anything. Now that they were cooped up in here, every second became unbearable. Zhao Lianyun was feeling even worse, like a fire was burning her heart. Bu Zhenzi frowned and was about to speak. But at this moment, Zhao Lianyun spoke again. You must have some thoughts. All of you have seen and even personally gone through the final moment in the spaceless tunnel. Do you think that perhaps the other GU immortals have died there? Impossible. Shi Zhengyi was the first to refute it, as he glared at Zhao Lianyun with anger. His father, Shi Zhe, was among those GU immortals. Zhao Lianyun's words were like predicting his father's death. Zhao Lianyun ignored Shi Zhengyi's attitude, continuing, you are all aware that we came here because of Love Gu's power. But the other GU immortals did not get such help. Even the immortal GU houses were on the verge of destruction at that time, let alone GU immortals. If there are no reinforcements, how long do we wait for? The other GU immortals had slight changes in their expressions. They actually had such worries, but it was just that they did not take the initiative to speak up. Now, Zhao Lianyun had brought up this topic. Bu Zhenzi thought and spoke in a deep voice, your speculation is not impossible. But even if there are no reinforcements, Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects will send a second group of GU immortals. Zhao Lianyun continued. But can the second group of reinforcements reach here? You have all experienced the difficulties and dangers we faced on our way. Can Spaceless Tunnel still be used a second time? Even if it can be used, can we be at ease using it again? Bu Zhenzi firmly stared at Zhao Lianyun's eyes, and spoke solemnly, you need to believe in our sect. Zhao Lianyun, your spirit affinity houses fairy, the sect is your biggest backer. If you don't believe in even the sect, who can you trust? Zhao Lianyun sharply sensed Bu Zhenzi's displeasure. But she disregarded it, and continued, even if the sect sends reinforcements and they reach here, what about the time? When will they arrive here? What price will they have to pay? Will there be mishaps again? This is Northern Plains, not Central Continent. Bu Zhenzi was silent. He was unable to retort to Zhao Lianyun's words. Zhao Lianyun let out a breath of air. In short, I don't want to wait any longer. You have to wait even if you don't want to. Bu Zhenzi frowned in anger. He stared at Zhao Lianyun. Both did not retreat and were fixated on their own stance. Zhao Lianyun's eyes were soon filled with mist. She moved her sight and looked the other way. If, during this time, Hong Yun is killed, what would we do? Can you make a guarantee? In truth, Zhao Lianyun was feeling more and more afraid as she waited. What she was afraid of was not her own safety. Instead, under the situation where the reinforcements were far away, waiting could not solve the problem. If during this time, Ma Hongyun was harmed by old ancestor Shui Hu and successfully used as a GU material to refine fortune rivaling heaven immortal GU, this would be Zhao Lianyun's lifetime regret. In the future, when she recalled it, she would be filled with extreme regret. Regret that she had once been so close to Ma Hongyun, charging into snowy mountain blessed land, and fate gave her a perfect opportunity but she did not take it. The blurry view of the first peak could be seen from the 9th peak. It was such a short distance, but she just kept on waiting here, losing the final chance. Zhao Lianyun did not want to see such a thing happening, that result would make her feel sadness and pain that was worse than death. The other 3 immortals did not find it convenient to meddle in the quarrel between Zhao Lianyun and Bu Zhenzi. After all, it was Spirit Affinity House's internal matter. Bu Zhenzi retorted, even if you don't want to wait, can you save Ma Hongyun? Even if you are able to defeat other Snowy Peak Lords, don't forget that you will have to face old ancestor Shui Hu in the end because Ma Hongyun is kept at the first peak. I know. Zhao Lianyun clenched her fists, her voice becoming sharper, but you said as well that before old ancestor Shui Hu, we will have to deal with the other 10 or so Snowy Peak Lords. We can get rid of them first. In any case, rank 8 GU immortals cannot act against us in this GU formation. With this, once our reinforcements arrive, we can directly attack the first peak, saving time and energy. Bu Zhenzi was furious, his expression turning dark. Then I will speak frankly, this Super GU formation amplifies the enemy's power while weakening us. If we leave this place, we will be forcefully separated by the formation and transported to other snowy peaks. Will each of you be able to fight them alone? In the previous battle, Mu Ling Lan and I led the main attack. What help can you 3 rank 6s bring? Bu Zhen spoke bluntly, but the 3 rank 6 GU immortals were not able to retort because what he said was a fact. Zhao Lianyun lowered her head in silence for a while, before she raised her head and said, "Then I am going to use Love GU again." Bu Zhen scoffed. "Who do you think you are? Will Love GU listen to you and allow you to control it?" Back then, even Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was not able to refine Love GU. That is because he did not receive the acknowledgement of Love GU. Zhao Lianyun retorted. "So what you are saying is that all the other fairies of Spirit Affinity House were useless? Not even one of them was able to control Love GU?" Bu Zhen sneered. "How would I know without trying?" Zhao Lianyun was persistent. Bu Zhen laughed, and was just about to speak when Zhao Lianyun had already taken action. She called out in her heart, "Love GU, oh Love GU, please display your might, take the 5 of us to another snowy peak." Love GU did not even budge, as if it was dead. Zhao Lianyun was unwilling to give up. She continued to pray and beg in her heart. Bu Zhen noticed Zhao Lianyun's stillness, and was about to speak, but right at this moment, Love Gu's aura rose from Zhao Lianyun's body and, at the same time, bright radiance covered Zhao Lianyun. The other 4 immortals were extremely shocked. All of their eyes were wide open as they stared fixedly at this sight. Mu Ling Lan could not help but say, "This it seems like the time when we left Spaceless Tunnel and appeared at Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. It was this aura and also the light." "Continue, don't stop," Shi Zhengyi urged. At the next moment, the light moving around Zhao Lianyun seemed to act on its own, as it spread towards the other 4 GU immortals. "Like this, we can charge our way towards the other snowy peaks. Ah, maybe it can directly take us out of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land." Shi Zhengyi was hopeful. Bu Zhen's mouth was wide open, unable to say a word at this moment. The shock he felt was much more intense than the others. Love GU cannot be controlled, this is absolutely true from history. Even Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was left without options. But why? Why is Love GU so obedient in Zhao Lianyun's hands? Could it be that Zhao Lianyun is the strongest fairy in the whole history of Spirit Affinity House? No, it is more likely because of her status. She is an otherworldly demon. Could it be that otherworldly demons and Love GU complement each other? Others cannot control Love GU, but an otherworldly demon is an exception. Countless thoughts welled up in Bu Zhen's mind, like surging waves in the sea. While he was thinking, the space behind him suddenly ruptured and turned into a fist-sized black hole. The black hole let out an unimaginable suction force, forcibly dragging in Bu Zhen. A person as strong as Bu Zhen, a rank 7 GU immortal, was unable to do anything and was directly dragged in, disappearing from the spot. At the same time, the same thing happened to other GU immortals. In the blink of an eye, this large hall was empty and silent. "We have left the 9th snowy peak." Bu Zhen held feelings of shock, as he sized up his surroundings the moment his feet landed on solid ground. This was similarly inside a large hall. But this hall was different from the previous one. The previous hall was decorated and beautiful, and seemingly emitted feminine aura, while this hall was majestic and grand, with a masculine air emanating from it. Which snowy peak is this? Bu Zhen had this thought. But shortly afterwards, his expression suddenly changed, as he shouted, "Damn it!" He found that he was the only one in the whole hall. The other 4 GU immortals were nowhere to be seen. He sobered himself up. Looks like I was overthinking it. Zhao Lianyun might be an otherworldly demon, but how can she control Love GU? Love GU is still unreliable and has countless abilities, who knows when it will act up. I was sent here, what about the others? Where are they? It would be best if they were together. Zhao Lianyun would be slightly more safe then. But if Zhao Lianyun is alone? Bu Zhen did not dare to continue thinking. Right at this time, an inky black shadow crept near him from the ground and silently attacked him. Bu Zhen's instincts set off warning signs. He quickly jumped back and dodged. But the shadow was like a viper, extremely fast, and within a breath of time, it had pounced towards Bu Zhen's feet. Turn Phantom. At the crucial moment, Bu Zhen used his specialty as a Phantom Path GU Immortal, turning into phantom form. The shadow helplessly passed through him, reaching behind Bu Zhen. Chapter 1255. Zhao Lianyun's death. Clap clap clap. A series of claps could be heard. It is indeed Phantom Path. A GU Immortal showed himself. This person was tall and well-built, with residues of a beard on his face. His eyes had no white color, being completely black. The most eye-catching thing was he had a skin-like black cloak draping behind him. Bu Genzi's pupils shrunk slightly as he recognized this person. Since the central continent Gu Immortals had come to save Ma Hongyun, how could they not have information on Snowy Mountain Blessed Land? So it is Shadow King. Bu Genzi lightly spoke, pointing out the other Gu Immortal's identity. At the same time, he also realized he was now at the 7th peak of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. Previously, this 7th peak's owner had been Shui Songzi. However, after Shui Songzi died, a demonic path Gu Immortal joined of his own accord, and it was this person. In fact, Snowy Mountain Blessed Land was a place which Northern Plains demonic path Gu Immortals were attracted towards, especially those demons who were wanted by Huangjin tribes, needing to find a reliable backer like old ancestor Shui Hu. Perhaps there were also some Gu Immortals, wanting to prolong their lives, who joined Snowy Mountain Blessed Land because of Lady Wan Shou. Naturally, because old ancestor Shui Hu was refining fortune rivaling Heaven Gu, it caused the morale of the members of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land to drop. Shadow King looked at Bu Genzi, and laughed. You guys from Central Continent truly came running into death. It isn't certain who dies yet. Bu Genzi sneered. Is that so? Shadow King suddenly turned into a pitch-black shadow, pouncing towards Bu Genzi. Rumble, at the next instance, muffled explosions resounded from the 7th snowy peak. The large hall shook, large amounts of snow that had accumulated on the mountain rolled down, forming a small avalanche. Different from what Bu Genzi had expected, Zhao Lianyun was not alone but also was not with all the other immortals. 12th peak. Both sides had already started fighting. Oh, two little ants, HMPH, see how I step on you and send you to death. The 12th snowy peak lord called out, and stepped fiercely with his right leg. The 12th snowy peak lord had transformed into a giant with the head of a bull and body of a human, his 2 legs had also turned into thick and firm bull legs. Bam! The bull leg stomped, creating a deep pit. The peak lord had powerful might, the 2 central continent Gu Immortals quickly retreated. One was Zhao Lianyun, and the other was Shi Zhengyi. Zhao Lianyun was slightly pale, the enemy was a giant while she had limited battle experience, this no doubt created strong mental pressure on her. Shi Zhengyi had rolled away on the ground, barely dodging the bull leg, he was clenching his teeth, damn it. He turned around and stood up from the ground, take this. Lay. Shi Zhengyi opened his mouth, flicking his tongue like a fast mechanical spring. With every flick, a crimson sword light shot out from the tip of his tongue at an extremely fast rate. Zhao Lianyun was speechless for a moment. Normal people could only curl up their tongue, some might not even be able to do that. It was the first time Zhao Lianyun had seen someone's tongue actually contracting and darting forward like a mechanical spring. The crimson sword light was extremely sharp, the 12th snowy peak lord had transformed into a giant which had thick skin and a sturdy physique, but the crimson sword light opened up holes all over his body. So painful, the 12th peak lord cried out in pain, and raised his arms to protect his head. For a moment, he could only defend and could not attack, all his momentum from before was suppressed. So powerful, Zhao Lianyun praised. Naturally, this is my vital immortal Gu, sword tongue Gu. Shi Zhengyi flicked his tongue, sending out crimson sword light while also replying to Zhao Lianyun. The strange thing was that his voice was clear even then. Are you a sword path Gu immortal? Zhao Lianyun asked. Ah, no, I cultivate information path. Shi Zhengyi replied. Speaking while still fighting, so you are so strong. Zhao Lianyun had a new level of respect towards Shi Zhengyi, this person who had thick eyebrows, large eyes, and was somewhat lacking in brains. Hee, I have sworn to defeat all the evils and demons in the world. Shi Zhengyi looked quite pleased and smug. Don't be so happy, the 12th peak lord roared. Boom, an overwhelming aura suddenly erupted from his giant body. The majestic aura shot everywhere, creating a huge air wave. Not good, it is an immortal killer move. Defend. Shi Zhengyi and Zhao Lianyun defended with all their might, but it was of no use. The air wave was extremely powerful, the two were like a pair of small toys, easily sent flying. With the 12th peak lord at the center, the floor tiles of the hall started flying all around, turning the whole scene into chaos. Thump thump, Zhao Lianyun and Shi Zhengyi crashed into the walls, throwing out mouthfuls of blood. Their whole bodies were suffering from intense pain, their internal organs were bleeding and their bones were fractured. With one attack, the 12th peak lord had completely turned around the slight disadvantage, and now had the upper hand. This is a chi path killer move. How could it be so powerful? Zhao Lianyun and Shi Zhengyi endured the pain and struggled to stand up. The two were sent flying and were quite far from each other right now. How was it? Did you like my, Zhao Daniu's, immortal killer move, Rising Heaven Bull Chi? You are young and also powerful. Unfortunately, my battle strength is amplified in this formation, and it has risen to rank 7 level, how can you possibly compete with me? Ha ha ha, Zhao Daniu laughed loudly, his laughter filled the hall like a huge wave. Watch as I stomp you to death. Suddenly, Zhao Daniu stopped laughing, gazing malevolently at Shi Zhengyi. He bent his waist and knees and suddenly jumped towards Shi Zhengyi like a small hill. Rumble, a loud crashing sound echoed as Zhao Daniu pressed Shi Zhengyi to the ground. Shi Zhengyi, Zhao Lianyun cried out in shock. This was a horrifying sight, being crushed by the heavy Zhao Daniu, would Shi Zhengyi not be turned into meat paste? But the next moment, Zhao Daniu's back protruded up. Shi Zhengyi stood up from below, lifting Zhao Daniu up with his hands, and with a yell, he actually pushed Zhao Daniu away. This was like a small rabbit pushing away a lion. This unimaginable scene caused Zhao Lianyun to open her eyes wide. What? My transformation has the weight of a desolate beast bull, you actually pushed me away. Even Zhao Daniu found it unbelievable. Shi Zhengyi was coughing up blood. After pushing away Zhao Daniu, he knelt down on the ground, extremely tired. This is the power of justice. Shi Zhengyi spoke with difficulty. Don't speak, you are coughing up too much blood. Zhao Lianyun called out. Bullshit justice. Zhao Daniu pulled himself together, and charged towards Shi Zhengyi again. He was extremely huge, but right now, his speed was like the wind, not fitting with his body size at all. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Daniu was right in front of Shi Zhengyi. Ah, look at the power of my justice. Shi Zhengyi shouted, and actually collided head-on. Bam, a muffled sound echoed. Zhao Lianyun felt pain in her body just from hearing the sound. Shi Zhengyi was like a small ball that was thrown far away, coughing up large amounts of blood. Then, like a broken sack, he fell to the ground, his blood dyeing the path red. I will kill you, Zhao Daniu was just about to rush forward and give a fatal blow to Shi Zhengyi, but he had just stepped forward when he found his whole body was tied by a bright silver chain. At the other end of the chain was Zhao Lianyun. She had already been preparing to activate her immortal killer move. Unfortunately, real battle was different from practice, especially this intense atmosphere which caused Zhao Lianyun to fail twice in activating her killer move. But it was fortunate that Shi Zhengyi had stalled for time, and Zhao Lianyun finally succeeded on her third attempt. Immortal killer move, life-locking silver chain. Cough cough, thank you, this killer move is really beautiful. Obtaining precious time for a breather, Shi Zhengyi crawled up from the ground, coughing up blood in between his words. Don't speak, you are still coughing blood. Zhao Lianyun was worried for him. Hee, you don't understand, I cultivate information path, by continuing to speak, I can heal my injuries. The louder I shout, the more powerful my attack becomes. Shi Zhengyi spoke of the reason. Little girl, you are annoying. Zhao Daniu roared and exerted strength from both of his arms, trying to break the chains on him. But no matter how much strength he used, he was unable to break these chains. Since it's like this, Zhao Daniu gave a malevolent smile, activating the killer move Rising Heaven Bull Chi. Boom, an intense explosion shook the hall. The surging air wave erupted once again, and this time, it sent the ceiling of the hall flying. Clang clang, crisp sounds echoed as the silver chain broke into countless pieces. Before these chain fragments touched the ground, they turned into specks of silver light and disappeared completely. Zhao Daniu used his main killer move to destroy the life-locking silver chain, and was free now. On the contrary, Zhao Lianyun and Shi Zhengyi were struck by the air wave again, both coughed out blood as they fell to the ground, unable to stand up. Damn it, Shi Zhengyi wanted to climb up, but his whole body was on the verge of breaking apart. As for Zhao Lianyun, she had already fallen into a stupor. Her injuries were worse than Shi Zhengyi's. Because life-locking silver chain was forcefully broken, Zhao Lianyun had suffered backlash, adding on Zhao Daniu's immortal killer move, her injuries had worsened. She had rank 9 Love Immortal GU, but from the start of the battle, she had not seen Love Immortal GU being activated. Love Immortal GU could not be controlled, even if it showed its strength, it might not necessarily be the correct solution to the problem. Darkness. The stupefied Zhao Lianyun felt she was floating amidst boundless darkness. This is the feeling of death. So this is death. I must be the biggest failure of a transmigrator in history. I actually died at the hands of an irrelevant side character. Let me just go down like this, after I die, I won't have to feel so exhausted and anguished anymore. Chapter 1256, For the Sake of Love and Justice. As she was thinking of this, Zhao Lianyun suddenly heard a sound coming from the darkness. This sound was calling out her name, Zhao Lianyun, Zhao Lianyun. Who is calling for me? I hear my name, why do I feel that this voice is so familiar? Ah, I remember, isn't this my voice before I lost it? Zhao Lianyun suddenly recalled a scene of the past. It was during the time of the imperial court contest. Zhao Lianyun's father had died and she was treated as a political chip for an arranged marriage. However, she went against this fate by relying on Ma Hongyun. In just a short while, she had turned from a wealthy young miss to an orphan. One day, Ma Hongyun brought her to a valley. Look, I found a good place for you. Ma Hongyun looked pleased. Zhao Lianyun gazed around, but when she discovered this was just a common small valley, her mouth uncontrollably twitched. What is special about this? Isn't it just a normal valley? There is not even nice scenery. What are you saying? Ma Hongyun's eyes opened wide. Valleys are very rare in northern plains. Here, let me teach you. Shout at the valley with your name and the valley will reply to you. Like this. Ma Hongyun took a deep breath, then yelled to the valley, Zhao Lian Yun. An echo soon came from the valley, Zhao Lian Yun. Zhao Lianyun helplessly rolled her eyes. Foolish people are the happiest. What is strange about echoes? I truly haven't seen anyone as dense as you. Ha ha ha. Ma Hongyun rubbed his hair. Others have said I am an idiot. I am truly an idiot. How could I be as smart as Lady Xiaoyun? But, when I felt sad in my childhood, when I was teased by others and no one played with me, I used to run to the valley near my home and shout at the valley. I call my name once, and the valley will reply back to me once. When I call again, the valley will reply again. It played with me, never abandoning or ignoring me. Unless my voice was not loud and clear enough. I saw you were not feeling happy recently. There is probably no one to play with you, right? I have to be beside the young clan leader and cannot accompany you all the time, so when you are unhappy, come to this valley and play with it. Zhao Lianyun did not speak. She looked at Ma Hongyun who had an earnest expression. A feeling of pity rose in her heart. This Ma Hongyun is so silly, but he is not bad at heart. He must have lived a very sad life since a young age. Even now, when he works under young clan leader, he is scolded frequently. But I have never seen him cry in sorrow. He is always smiling the whole day. Forget it, let me play with you then. Thinking of this, Zhao Lianyun took a deep breath and called at the valley with her name. Ma Hongyun was so happy he almost danced when he saw Zhao Lianyun following his words. That's wrong, you should shout louder, be louder. Zhao Lianyun shouted once again. Ma Hongyun shook his head. You are still not loud enough, the valley can hear you only if you are loud. It is not responding to you now, because it is not able to listen to you. Zhao Lianyun took in a deep breath, and shouted with her loudest voice. Zhao Lianyun. The valley replied, Zhao Lianyun. Ma Hongyun laughed heartily. Zhao Lianyun also felt very refreshed, all her sadness seemed to have decreased and her mood also brightened. Zhao Lianyun, Zhao Lianyun, Zhao Lianyun. In the darkness, the voice shouted constantly. Zhao Lianyun, what are you doing? Don't be lost. Zhao Lianyun, you are not alone. Heaven and earth is with you, as long as you shout loudly, heaven and earth will hear you. Zhao Lianyun, wake up. There is someone who is still waiting for you to rescue him. That person once stood beside you, accompanied you to watch the stars, accompanied you to call out to the valley. Go help him, go help him, he must be feeling lonely now, or maybe even afraid. Shout loudly, send out your voice, let him know you are coming. Let him know he has to persevere, let him know he has hope. Yes, I will save him, how can I fall here? Zhao Lianyun suddenly opened her eyes. She had woken up from her stupor. The moment she woke up, she found her whole body was burning with a pale blue light. This blue light was let out by Love Immortal Gu. Zhao Lianyun's injuries rapidly recovered, and her condition was soaring. The blue light also shone towards the surroundings. Zhao Daniu retreated step by step, his face filled with horror. Ah, what is this light? It is heavier than a mountain. This aura, what immortal Gu is this? Shi Zhengyi was similarly bathed in the light. He suddenly stood up, feeling inexhaustible energy within him. His injuries had already disappeared, and his condition had reached an unprecedented peak. Thank you, Zhao Lianyun, leave this to me now. All you evildoers, I will strike you down. Take my fist of justice. Shi Zhengyi shouted loudly. The louder he shouted, the more powerful his immortal killer move became. A giant fist of light rose up from his body and struck towards Zhao Daniyu. Boom! Like the roar of thunder, Zhao Daniyu's defensive methods were broken, a bloody hole appeared in his wide chest from which one could see the wall behind him. Zhao Daniyu's eyes gradually lost their luster, before he fell down. Bam! His body collapsed on the ground, no longer moving. Several breaths of time later, his body, soul and immortal aperture turned into pure energy that was absorbed by the fate-reversing sacrificial refinement formation. Haha, justice prevailed. Shi Zhengyi raised his fist and yelled. Zhao Lianyun smiled from the side. Northern Plains, Licorice Regional Wall. Dragon roars resounded throughout the surroundings. Ying Wuxie. Where do you think you are going? It was Fang Yuan in sword dragon form, who had finally caught up to Ying Wuxie and the group, under Qi Lux Sensation's guidance. Ying Wuxie and the group immediately turned around and faced Fang Yuan, their expressions extremely solemn. Ying Wuxie had said Fang Yuan would catch up to them, so the 5 immortals were already mentally prepared for it and not panicked. Right now, they were waiting for the start of this vicious battle. The sword dragon roared, opening its mouth wide, revealing fangs that were sharp like spears and very ferocious. Its eyes were ruthless and cold, emitting bone-chilling killing intent. Without saying any nonsense, Fang Yuan directly charged forward. To kill. If you want to go against my lord, you must go through me first. The loyal Shi Nu took a step forward, standing in front of the group, and raised his right hand. A tall and thick rock wall immediately rose up and formed an obstacle. Boom boom boom. At the next moment, the rock wall was pierced through repeatedly. Fang Yuan had used his dragon breath. The extremely sharp rays of dragon breath shot forward and gathered into a rain of sword light that pierced through the rock wall, moving towards the 5 immortals. He Lu Lan gave a cry, breathing out small fire birds from her mouth. These small birds could act on their own, they moved towards Fang Yuan's dragon breath. The fire birds collided into the dragon breath, turning into balls of flames that dissipated in the air. Angry bird. Fang Yuan was slightly surprised. This was clearly a fire path method, he had not expected He Lu Lan to use it. The external appearance of these fire birds made Fang Yuan think of blazing heaven demoness. Back then during the battle in Eastern Sea, Fang Yuan and Tai Bai Yun Shang, along with Shark Demon, Su Bai Man as well as the one-finger flow shark, were unable to beat blazing heaven demoness. Blazing heaven demoness, immortal killer move, angry bird, had left an extremely deep impression on Fang Yuan. But the fire birds He Lu Lan used were different from the true angry bird. After He Lu Lan's strength path immortal GU were sent to Fang Yuan, she suffered from a lack of strength path immortal GU to support her battle strength. In Eastern Sea, she then chose to cultivate fire path, which was not complemented by the strength path Dao marks in her body. She possessed a fire path inheritance. When blazing heaven demoness met He Lu Lan, she secretly handed her fire path inheritance to He Lu Lan. Blazing heaven demoness felt extreme guilt towards He Lu Lan, and thought of every way to compensate her. He Lu Lan received the fire path inheritance and had not cared about it originally, feeling she would not use it in her whole life. But who could expect the way events unfolded? Under strange coincidences, she chose to focus on fire path. Naturally, she did not have even a trace of fire path Dao marks in her. But she possessed all the immortal GU of blazing heaven demoness. This matter would have to be traced back to before the Battle of Yitian Mountain. To refine sovereign immortal fetus GU, Spectral Soul had no choice but to sacrifice the whole of Zombie Alliance, using the countless immortal zombies as immortal materials to further the progress of refinement. Zombie Alliance was underneath Shadow Sect from its establishment, and was controlled by Shadow Sect. It was just that many immortal zombies did not know of this fact despite joining Zombie Alliance. Zombie Alliance had gone all out in establishing super GU formations to protect immortal zombie corpses. But in truth, this was a perfect excuse and a way to keep them in captivity. Using this chance, Shadow Sect assassinated all the immortal zombies. It did not matter if the dead apertures of the immortal zombies existed or not, but the immortal GU in them were all safely stored. Northern Plains Zombie Alliance's immortal GU were all still hidden in Dark Flow Giant City. Ying Wuxie and He Lu Lan were far away in Eastern Sea, but there was still Sixth Hair in Northern Plains. Dark Flow Giant City was hidden in the depths of Earth Trench. Sixth Hair quietly sneaked in and used his methods to take away all the immortal GU of blazing heaven demoness, sending them to Ying Wuxie. After Ying Wuxie refined them, he gave them to He Lu Lan. He Lu Lan already had blazing heaven demoness, true inheritance, and with the Immortal GU as well, she could almost replicate all the methods of Blazing Heaven Demoness. Fang Yuan did not know of this before, but now that he saw these fire birds, he immediately had a pensive look. The sword-light dragon breath continued to be breathed out. Tai Bai Yunsheng quickly acted and added the protection of cloud rings around the other GU immortals. Chapter 1257, Ruthless Sword Dragon. Tai Bai Yunsheng mainly cultivated Time Path, but man as before and landscape as before were traded to Fang Yuan, so he chose to cultivate Cloud Path. He already had a foundation in Cloud Path, and with Shadow Sect not lacking on Cloud Path true inheritances, the defensive method he used right now was quite good. However, after Tai Bai Yunsheng placed a cloud ring around his allies, his expression turned pale. When GU Immortals use their Immortal Killer moves inside the regional walls, their Immortal Killer moves would tremor. Using the Immortal Killer move 5 times caused Tai Bai Yunsheng's Immortal Aperture to tremor 5 times, inflicting huge losses. Interesting. Fang Yuan smiled sinisterly, his dragon body moved in a zigzag fashion, and lightly flew to the sky. Ying Wuxie and the rest looked somber. In this regional wall, every movement of theirs was performed with difficulty, having to constantly resist the formless repulsion and attraction forces. On the contrary, Fang Yuan could move easily and freely. Fang Yuan flew high above, immediately gaining control of the situation. He looked down from above and moved around, breathing out dragon breath constantly. Sword light fell down towards the heads of the 5 immortals like rain. Defend, don't split up, we can't fight him alone. Ying Wuxie shouted loudly, reminding everyone. Seeing the sword light falling towards them, Ying Wuxie suddenly roared, letting out an incomparably sharp screech. Immortal Killer move, Soul Howl. Soul Howl's power completely covered the sky, but did not affect the surrounding GU immortals in the slightest, showing Ying Wuxie's outstanding control. Fang Yuan's offenses were immediately suppressed. The sword-like dragon breath clearly stopped for a moment, before quickly recovering. Since I am going against Shadow Sect, how could I not have prepared against Soul Path attacks? Fang Yuan sneered inwardly. He was already mentally prepared. However, he did not have a method to protect his soul against Soul Path Immortal GU, so he was hit by the attack and affected. But his soul's foundation was extremely robust. He was completely able to endure the attack of Soul Howl. It would not matter even if his soul was injured because he had Guts GU. Damn it! Ying Wuxie cursed while blocking the sword-light dragon breath. He knew Fang Yuan had Guts GU. Guts GU was only Immortal GU, but it came from Danghun Mountain, and was beyond ordinary. A secluded domain of heaven and earth like Danghun Mountain had an enormous amount of Dao marks, the total surpassed even rank 9 Immortal GU. However, secluded domains of heaven and earth had scattered Dao marks, though they could be of the same type and closely linked together. While rank 9 Immortal GU were fragments of the Great Dao, they could be controlled by a GU Immortal to bring out mysterious powers. Rank 9 Immortal GU and secluded domains of heaven and earth could not truly be compared and evaluated. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Sword light fell down like rain, the 5 immortals were stifled. There were traces of sword cuts everywhere on the ground. The 5 immortals naturally did not like being suppressed like this. The best way to deal with such a focused attack was to separate and dodge. But if they did that, Fang Yuan would have the chance to attack them separately. But the 5 immortals would not take being beaten down passively. She knew had finally finished his preparations as he activated an Immortal Killer move. Rumble. Muffled sounds echoed continuously. Earth shook, a large hand made completely from soil and rocks rose up from the ground. The large hand spread open and slowly hovered above the 5 immortals' heads, protecting Ying Wuxie and the others under its palm. The thick back of the hand took on the sharp dragon breath. Despite the large earth path hand being badly mauled and showing signs of being destroyed, Heilu Lan had finished preparing her killer move using this chance. She stretched out her right arm, her 5 fingers together with no gaps between them, as she thrusted at the sky. Boom! A burning crimson ray of light erupted from between her fingers, and with breakneck speed, it pierced through the whole large hand and rushed towards Fang Yuan. This Immortal Killer move was astonishingly fast, and it was concealed by the large earth path hand. If Fang Yuan was even the slightest bit inattentive, he would definitely be struck. However, this ray of fire did not hit Fang Yuan and was easily avoided by him lightly moving his dragon body. It actually did not hit. Heilu Lan's heart sank. 3 breaths future vision. Heilu Lan did not know that Fang Yuan had such a time path investigative killer move. Strange, Heilu Lan is a strength path GU immortal and is using fire path methods, but she is actually not impeded by the conflict of Dao marks. It should be from Shadow Sect's methods. After all, Sovereign Immortal Fetus GU was designed by Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. He Lulan's efforts were in vain, and instead gave away some of her details. Soon, the large earth path hand collapsed, and the sword light dragon breath continued to rain down. However, the 5 immortals were no longer as hurried before, each used their immortal killer moves to defend against the sword light rain. Then how about this move? Let me see how you deal with it. Fang Yuan firmly held the initiative, easily using another immortal killer move. Time Path, Year Beast Summoning. Roar, a tiger-shaped year beast answered the summoning and appeared in the regional wall, helping Fang Yuan battle. Fang Yuan threw large amounts of mortal year GU, raising the morale of the tiger year beast as it charged towards Ying Wuxie and the group. She knew felt bitter, the sword light dragon breath was already difficult to cope with, now there was an ancient year beast worsening the situation. This year beast could similarly move freely in the regional wall. The reason was similar to the cloud beasts. The cloud beasts were life forms of white heaven and were not native to the 5 regions, thus they were not restricted by the regional walls. While the year beasts which lived in the river of time were similar. Allow me. Ying Wuxie stepped forward, and used an extremely similar method. Soul Path, Soul Beast Summoning. In the past, Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had created Soul Path, thus Shadow Sect was most proficient in Soul Path. He Fan could think of summoning year beasts, how could Shadow Sect not have similar methods? Ying Wuxie's method was extraordinary, summoning 3 ancient soul beasts at once. My soul beasts are not influenced by the regional wall, because they come from the door of life and death. Ying Wuxie's complacency did not last long because he saw that Fang Yuan had already rushed forward. The sword dragon snaked around, flying extremely fast. It grabbed forward with its dragon claws, directly destroying a soul beast's head. Its tail whipped, severing the thigh of another soul beast. It breathed out, dragon breath pierced through the 3rd ancient soul beast. Fang Yuan's sword dragon transformation had outstanding battle strength. The main thing was that Fang Yuan also had Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's immortal killer move on him, Ghostly Concealment. This made any soul beast unable to sense his existence. Thus, with Fang Yuan's battle strength surpassing the ancient soul beasts, and the soul beasts unable to sense him, Fang Yuan had huge superiority when fighting the soul beasts. These soul beasts could not even react before they were severely injured by Fang Yuan. Fortunately, soul beasts did not have a clear weak point on them, otherwise they would have been completely destroyed by Fang Yuan. But even so, the soul beasts had clearly thinned, becoming increasingly transparent. Ying Wuxie's expression was unsightly, but he simply watched as Fang Yuan destroyed the 3 ancient soul beasts without making a move. Ying Wuxie inwardly thought, it doesn't matter, even if you kill these 3 ancient soul beasts, so what? I can use the killer move again and summon another 3 ancient soul beasts. What is found everywhere in the door of life and death? Souls and soul beasts. But at this time, Fang Yuan suddenly gave up on attacking the ancient soul beasts and activated Sword Escape. Sword Escape Immortal GU. Fang Yuan's speed suddenly erupted, leaving behind an afterimage in his original spot. Fast, fast, fast. Tai Bai Yunsheng could not react at all and was struck by Fang Yuan's claws. The cloud ring protecting him directly collapsed, his stomach was torn open and his large intestine spilled out. He did not die. Fang Yuan was surprised. He had wanted to use dragon breath. After all, the dragon breath was the most powerful weapon of his sword dragon transformation, but at the crucial moment, a layer of ice had sealed his mouth out of nowhere. Fang Yuan could not open his mouth, thus he chose to use his claws. But his speed was too fast and rushed. Fang Yuan could not use his full strength. As a result, most of the strength of his claws was offset by Tai Bai Yunsheng's cloud ring, and Tai Bai Yunsheng thus was barely able to survive. It is Bai Ningbing. Fang Yuan exerted strength, forcibly opening his dragon mouth, breaking the ice on it. Fang Yuan looked back, his speed was too fast and right now, he was already a few li away from the 5 immortals. Bai Ningbing was guarding in front of the 4 immortals, her icy blue eyes emitted cold light as she stared at Fang Yuan with no fear. Quick, quick, He Lulan grabbed Tai Bai Yunsheng's leg and dragged him to the rear. Then, she sat down and used healing methods, but unfortunately, Tai Bai Yunsheng's injuries were severe, and for the moment showed no signs of healing. Once a GU immortal was injured, it was difficult to heal. Because of the conflict between Dao marks. Once Fang Yuan's ancient sword dragon transformation injured someone, it would leave behind large amounts of sword path Dao marks. This was very hard to endure for Tai Bai Yunsheng's fragile human body. Oh, if I had man as before, it would not be so troublesome. Saying this, Tai Bai Yunsheng fainted, his life hanging by a thread. This was after He Lulan used all her healing methods. Damned Fang Yuan, his true target was Tai Bai Yun Sheng. Ying Wuxia's expression was ashen. He could see Fang Yuan's thought process. Fang Yuan was entangled against the soul beasts on the surface, but ever since the battle began, he had been searching for an opportunity. He had probably marked Tai Bai Yun Sheng as his target since the beginning. After all, Tai Bai Yun Sheng was the weakest among the 5 immortals. Always pick out the weakest enemy first. Tai Bai Yun Sheng cannot be counted on now. Ying Wuxia's expression was heavy. How long had it been since they battled? There was already a casualty on his side. How should they deal with such a strong Fang Yuan? At this moment, Fang Yuan was surprised, feeling something wrong. He stretched out his dragon body, but astonishingly discovered that his dragon scales were covered by a layer of thin ice, who knows when it formed. Bai Ningbing's gaze is strange. Fang Yuan immediately reacted. If we want to force back Fang Yuan, we need to first restrict his speed. Bai Ningbing's eyes flickered with cold light. She had clear judgment of the whole situation. Chapter 1258, Fang Yuan vs 5 1/2. Despite becoming an immortal just recently, Bai Ningbing had some advantages over normal GU immortals. First of all, she possessed one of the 10 extreme physiques, Northern Dark Ice Soul Physique, which was the best for cultivating ice and snow path. Similarly to He Lulan's Great Strength True Martial Physique, her Dao marks surpassed most rank 6 GU immortals in the same condition. Secondly, she had become the owner of Bai Shang Grotto Heaven. She obtained Bai Zhang's true inheritance, and had all the GU worms left behind by Bai Shang, among which were rank 7 immortal GU as well. However, there were no rank 8 immortal GU. Bai Zhang's status in history was slightly inferior to He Fan. But the joint forces of the 5 Shangs surpassed He Fan by a lot. Bai Ningbing's flaw was that she was not familiar with the immortal GU and the immortal killer moves. She often failed when activating them, which caused danger of backlash. Nurture, use, and refinement. Using GU was one of the 3 important aspects of GU master cultivation. To get familiar with her gains, Bai Ningbing had to spend a long period of time in practicing them. As such, she was a long way away from being able to use them freely in real battle. But, at this time, Bai Ningbing's flaw was effectively concealed. Because she had Ying Wuxie, He Lulan, Tai Bai Yun Sheng and Shi Nu beside her. Because of their protection, Bai Ningbing had the time to use her immortal killer move unhurriedly. Fang Yuan's information regarding Bai Ningbing was lacking. On one hand, he thought Bai Ningbing was like Tai Bai Yun Sheng and He Lulan, whose battle strength rose after receiving benefits from Shadow Sect. On the other hand, Fang Yuan had used Qi Luck Sensation many times before and had sensed Bai Ningbing, but he could not know matters concerned with Bai Shang Grotto Heaven and so on. Fang Yuan had thus greatly underestimated Bai Ningbing's true battle strength. If he knew of the truth, he might not have chosen Tai Bai Yun Sheng as the first target, and marked Bai Ningbing instead. But Fang Yuan had always lacked information path methods, so how could he know about Bai Shang Grotto Heaven? Fang Yuan had been reborn, but he was not all-knowing. Bai Ningbing's gaze could actually freeze any targets in her sight, slowing down their mobility. This was Bai Zhang's method. After Fang Yuan realized the strangeness, he immediately took measures, flying back and concealing his traces. Visibility was very poor in the Licorice Regional Wall. After Fang Yuan flew back, he immediately disappeared from Bai Ningbing's sight. Bai Ningbing clenched her teeth. Fang Yuan was an old fox, seeing through the limits of her move in just a short while. Even with such a trump card, he doesn't force himself to take risks. Unfortunately, we have especially formulated a battle tactic for this. Bai Ningbing felt regret. The move Fang Yuan used to break the Super GU formation in Eastern Sea was so powerful that it gave chills to Ying Wuxie, Bai Ningbing and the rest. On the way, they had discussed about defensive measures against this method of Fang Yuan. However, Fang Yuan did not use that move the whole time, making the prior preparations of Ying Wuxie and the rest useless. Unfortunately, I have only just obtained Bai Zhang's true inheritance. This killer move has its limits, but other killer moves can be used together with it to make up for this limit. Bai Ningbing had barely been able to activate this killer move. If she tried to activate another immortal killer move on top of this, she was almost certain to fail. Bai Ningbing was not Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan could do many tasks at once and use multiple immortal killer moves at the same time, but Bai Ningbing had very low attainment in this aspect. Fang Yuan had retreated and hidden himself, but he still held the initiative and upper hand. Under this situation, Bai Ningbing could not take the risk. Once she failed, their arrangement would be in disorder, creating a weakness which Fang Yuan could exploit. Bai Ningbing understood Fang Yuan very well, he absolutely would not give up such an exposed weakness. Even Bai Ningbing was in deep admiration of Fang Yuan's ability to grasp opportunities in a fight. Fang Yuan's scales have been frozen by my gaze. Once he recovers, with his speed, it will be difficult for me to lock onto him with my sight. Bai Ningbing pondered. Fang Yuan's burst of speed in ancient sword dragon form was astonishing by itself, adding on sword escape in his sword path Dao marks, even the rank 7 expert Yi Lui Qunxing had died at his hands. Bai Ningbing knew she had been able to use her freezing sight earlier because Fang Yuan was unprepared. Now that Fang Yuan was on guard, when he used that astonishing speed again, this immortal killer move's effectiveness would decrease drastically. It seems I can only change my tactics. Bai Ningbing immediately decided. She had no choice but to change. Previously, when Fang Yuan showed his speed, he had almost killed Tai Bai Yunsheng. If Bai Ningbing did not change her tactics and continued to use freezing sight, the one to die might be her. The situation was perilous. Bai Ningbing retreated behind Shi Nu while saying to Ying Wuxie, "Protect me, I am going to use that move." Bai Ningbing and Ying Wuxie had formed a new alliance, and with a formidable enemy in front of them, both sides had informed each other of some of their trump cards. Thus, Ying Wuxie understood without needing Bai Ningbing to explain. He nodded solemnly. "Okay, use that move, let us take care of your safety." He immediately commanded Shi Nu, "Even if you have to sacrifice yourself, you need to protect Bai Ningbing." Shi Nu was loyal to Ying Wuxie, he immediately nodded at this command with no hesitation. "Relax, he has been hit by my freezing sight, according to the flaw you mentioned of the sovereign immortal body. If he does not have a specific method to counter it, he will need about a dozen breaths of time to recover completely." Bai Ningbing spoke with confidence. Ying Wuxie nodded. "That's good, then." He did not doubt Bai Ningbing. Bai Zhang's methods had their own originality. It was not easy to specifically target an immortal killer move. Often, one had to fight numerous times, getting familiar with the immortal killer move, and go through a long period of deduction to create a method that countered the immortal killer move. There was a low probability of Fang Yuan having a method to counter it. But right at this time, in the sights of the 5 immortals, a white ray of light flashed by. "Careful, it is the dragon breath. Defend, protect Bai Ningbing and Tai Bai Yunsheng." Rays of sword light dragon breath attacked, recreating the previous sword light rain. For a moment, Ying Wuxie and the group had their hands tied dealing with them. Bai Ningbing was using all her concentration in activating her immortal killer move, while Tai Bai Yunsheng was unconscious from the severe injuries. As such, for the remaining 3 other immortals, the pressure on them had amplified suddenly, and they did not even have enough strength to strike back. Fang Yuan circled around Ying Wuxie and the rest from afar, breathing out dragon breath. Rays of sword light dragon breath shot from all directions towards Ying Wuxie and the others. His sword dragon body was still covered in thin ice. Bai Ningbing's freezing sight was quite effective. Naturally, the main reason was Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal body. Despite transforming into an ancient sword dragon, his Dao marks still did not have repulsion to different Dao marks. This created a disadvantage. Like when Bai Ningbing's freezing sight affected Fang Yuan, it would not be weakened by Fang Yuan's Dao marks, and could strike with all its might. Fortunately, the ancient sword dragon had a tough body and strong vitality, otherwise a human body might have been directly frozen to death. Fang Yuan was breathing dragon breath, suppressing Ying Wuxie and the rest, while quickly recovering. He was influenced by the freezing sight, but healing was also rather easy. Because his Dao marks did not have repulsion, even using mortal methods repeatedly could display effect. It was not like Tai Bai Yunsheng, whom, after being injured, could not be healed easily. Fang Yuan continuously breathed out dragon breath, probing and suppressing Ying Wuxie and the others. He quickly discovered, Bai Ningbing was being heavily protected by Ying Wuxie and the others. Unless he made his way in through brute force, he had no other routes to get to Bai Ningbing. Activating an immortal killer move, Fang Yuan thought heavily. Since she was being so greatly protected by Ying Wuxie and the others, Bai Ningbing was definitely preparing an extraordinary immortal killer move. Thus, as soon as he recovered, he directly dived in. He was not restricted in the licorice regional wall and could move freely. When he burst with his speed, even Fang Yuan himself was not able to have complete control. It was simply like a white ray of light. Ying Wuxie and the rest did not even have time to call out when Fang Yuan penetrated through their defensive lineup and charged in. Bai Ningbing broke out in cold sweat, almost failing her killer move's activation. He Lulan was heavily injured. Her left arm was completely gone and even her left torso was injured. The injuries were so frightening that one could see her ribs. Blood spurted out like a fountain and soon accumulated into a pool below He Lu Lan. The injury was covered with Dao marks, causing the blood to flow unceasingly. If this continued, He Lu Lan would be the first person to die. Under this critical situation, He Lu Lan immediately chose to transform into an immortal zombie. Immortal zombies could bear this level of injury. The warm and bright red blood immediately turned into cold and gloomy green blood. Blood was still flowing outside, but the speed had reduced by countless times. He, He Lu Lan knelt on one leg, taking huge gasps of breath, but her lips were curled up. She was actually laughing. On the other hand, Fang Yuan got a peculiar feeling. I was actually hit. Not bad from He Lu Lan. The dragon claw he used to rip apart He Lu Lan's left arm still had traces of flesh and blood. Right now, this flesh and blood slowly turned into a blood-colored fire, which followed Fang Yuan's dragon claw to his scales. Immortal killer move, flesh blood fire. This fire used flesh and blood as the fuel. As long as there was flesh and blood, the fire wouldn't stop. Without any methods to counter it, it simply would not be extinguished. Moreover, the stronger the flesh and blood were, the brighter and more powerful the fire would become. Fang Yuan's ancient sword dragon transformation had instead become the perfect target for flesh-blood fire. However, Fang Yuan reacted extremely quickly. He immediately dispelled his transformation killer move, and returned to his human form. He activated a time path healing immortal GU. Man as before, Chapter 1259, Fang Yuan vs 5 2 halves. Over 20 beads of red date immortal essence were expended. The next moment, the blood-colored fire completely disappeared and Fang Yuan went back to his previous state. Sigh, man as before is effective only on human bodies. When I transform to other living beings, I cannot directly use man as before. This is quite inconvenient. Moreover, man as before has quite a big restriction in terms of time. Fortunately I have my investigative killer move, 3 breaths future vision. Fang Yuan inwardly sighed, as he activated another immortal killer move. Convergence of enslavement and strength path, myriad self. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Tens of thousands of Fang Yuans converged to create a vast human tide that charged towards Ying Wuxie and the rest. How can this be? He actually recovered so quickly. He has already gotten rid of blood flesh fire. He Lu Lan was extremely surprised. Fang Yuan's counterattack was too quick, and it still carried strong momentum, making He Lu Lan's heart sink to rock bottom. He Lu Lan knew Fang Yuan had man as before. But man as before had rather stringent requirements regarding time. Even Fang Yuan would only survive by a hair's breadth. After he was struck, he would have to first discover his state, then dispel his transformation killer move. During this time, he might hesitate before he finally used man as before. Activating this immortal GU, furthermore, required some time. Under such a situation, He Lu Lan thought if it was herself instead of Fang Yuan, it would also be very difficult to get rid of this blood flesh fire. Fang Yuan was not clear of He Lu Lan and Bai Ningbing's methods. Likewise, He Lu Lan similarly did not know that Fang Yuan had 3 breaths future vision. This investigative killer move could let Fang Yuan see anything wrong that would happen to him 3 breaths earlier. Because of this, Fang Yuan had much more time to react and take action accordingly. In short, He Lu Lan was heavily injured but only managed to slightly affect Fang Yuan. Red date immortal essence was consumed, but Fang Yuan was rich and his financial condition was rather good, thus, he did not care about this small expenditure. Immortal killer move, soul howl. Ying Wuxie howled, countless phantoms of Fang Yuan around him burst at once. Immortal killer move, spike forest. Shinu stamped his right leg, countless spikes rose up from the ground, piercing through thousands of Fang Yuan's phantoms. Then, Shinu called out, the earth spikes shot to the air, instantly clearing large amounts of phantoms in the air. This move hit a second stage within, and was extremely effective, almost completely destroying all of Fang Yuan's phantoms. Earth Path Rank 7 GU Immortal Shinu, he was the cornerstone in this battle. Without his protection and contribution, how could Ying Wuxie and the rest last until this moment? Your turn next. Fang Yuan transformed back into a sword dragon, laughing sinisterly inwardly. Roar. At this moment, the tiger year beast beside him roared and suddenly retreated. This ancient year beast had been summoned by Fang Yuan, although it had been fighting all along. Ying Wuxie and the rest were on guard against it, thus it was not able to assist a lot and instead suffered many injuries. The tiger year beast was not loyal to Fang Yuan. This could not compare to Ying Wuxie's soul beast summoning. Once the year beast suffered severe injuries, it immediately retreated, penetrating space and returning to the river of time. But it did not matter. Immortal killer move, year beast summoning. Fang Yuan activated this killer move again, this time he summoned a sheep-shaped ancient year beast. Although year beast summoning could only summon one year beast each time, there were many year beasts in the river of time. If one left, he just had to summon another. The sheep ancient year beast stampeded towards Ying Wuxie and the others. Xinu gave a deep roar, his body suddenly bulged, turning into a giant that was as big as the year beast. He stood stably and countered it, using his profound fighting techniques to throw the year beast to the ground. Boom! The sheep ancient year beast fell to the ground, causing the ground to tremor for a while. The year beast quickly stood up, and furiously charged towards Xinu with its horns. Xinu sidestepped smoothly while grabbing the curved sheep horns at the same time. The two giant beings tangled together, at a deadlock for the time being. On Fang Yuan's end, the amount of dragon breath he used was reducing. He was starting to feel a burning pain in his throat, as if his throat was about to emit smoke. Dragon breath was the ancient sword dragon's strongest weapon. Even a true ancient sword dragon would not be able to continue using dragon breath more than 20 to 30 times. However, Fang Yuan had already used his dragon breath over 100 times, reaching the limits of his physical body. If he continued breathing out, his throat would be damaged, and the sword-like dragon breath's power would reduce by a huge extent. The battle had lasted up until now, the tiger year beast had retreated from severe injuries, and now Fang Yuan was showing some signs of fatigue. Although he had become a rank 7 GU Immortal, with Red Date Immortal Essence, his battle strength rising sharply and reaching the upper level among rank 7s, the enemies he faced were also not minor characters. He Lu Lan was a formidable person with the great strength true martial physique. She had annexed a strength path blessed land in Jade Pot Mountain, her Dao marks increasing by a lot. At the same time, she also had Blazing Heaven Demoness, true inheritance along with her immortal GU. Bai Ningbing had the Northern Dark Eyes soul physique, and had changed into the mysterious Dragon Man, grasping Bai Shang Grotto Heaven and obtaining Bai Zhang's true inheritance. There was no need to say anything about Ying Wuxie, he was one of the main split souls of Spectral Soul. He once had the 11th extreme physique, he was the final hope of Shadow Sect, with astonishing attainment in Soul Path, and although his attainment in other paths was unclear, they should not be low. At least, it was the case for Luck Path. Xinu was a rock man, this race innately had rich Earth Path Dao marks, and with Xinu cultivating Earth Path mainly, it could be they complemented one another well. The most useless was Tai Bai Yun Shang, but even so, this old guy was becoming sharper as he grew older. He mainly cultivated Time Path, but perfectly dual cultivated Cloud Path as well, and with the immortal GU on him, his Cloud Ring's defensive ability was quite remarkable. Although the majority of these 5 was rank 6, they were similar to Fang Yuan when he was rank 6, with battle strength that reached rank 7 level. And right now, these elites with outstanding disposition had allied and were working together, adding on the constant support of Shadow Sect's remaining resources and methods emerging one after another. They were stronger than alone Yi Lui Qunxing and were even more difficult to handle. When GU Immortals battled, they could not rush things. Because there were many types of Immortal GU, immortal killer moves were endless in number, some were extremely mystical, some were powerful and unconstrained, some were tyrannical, and some were sinister and strange. Fang Yuan was fighting alone against 5, and was firmly holding an advantage, while Ying Wuxie and the others were exhausted by just dealing with his attacks, and were unable to turn the situation around. Damn it, he has not used that move even now. Ying Wuxie thought as green immortal zombie blood flowed down from his nose. Ying Wuxie wiped the blood using the back of his hand, but the green blood flowed down again. Damn it, I have been using immortal killer moves repeatedly, and have been bearing so much backlash that even this immortal zombie body is showing signs of reaching its limits. Even I am like this, the others must be in even worse circumstances. Ying Wuxie gazed at his allies, and saw they were all pale and their states were worsening. Fang Yuan was unrestricted here, but they were not. They not only had to steady themselves constantly, resisting the repulsion and attraction force in the regional wall, they also had to fight Fang Yuan at the same time, using many immortal killer moves which caused heavy losses to their immortal apertures. My side has Shadow Sect's remaining resources, it is normal for our battle strength to rise rapidly. But, Fang Yuan's battle strength also rose so quickly. This speed is too astonishing. Even as 5 allied together are not his match. The more Ying Wuxie thought, the more apprehensive he felt towards Fang Yuan. And in the depths of this apprehension was a trace of fear. Right, it was fear. Ying Wuxie was beginning to feel afraid. He could not help but admit Fang Yuan was strong, he was even more afraid of Fang Yuan's growth speed. Bai Shang, activate. Bai Ningbing, who had been preparing the killer move all along, suddenly gave a cry, a soaring aura rose up from her body. Ying Wuxie was immediately filled with joy as he looked at Bai Ningbing. You finally succeeded. Bai Ningbing's appearance had a great change right now. In the blink of an eye, she had transformed into a 5-meter giant. She had 3 heads, 6 arms and bare feet. Her body was covered in ice armor and frost aura flowed around her, like a long ribbon was revolving around her. She stood on 2 frost clouds that emitted light hints of blue. Immortal killer move, Bai Shang. Fang Yuan, come fight me. Bai Ningbing gave a shout, and suddenly sped up like a white light passing through the air. She had changed her defensive stance, taking the initiative to attack. Let our old and new enmity be resolved today. Fang Yuan's dragon eyes narrowed, and without dodging, he charged head-on. A silver light and a white light passed by each other. The inertia from their speed was too powerful, whether it be Bai Ningbing or Fang Yuan, they each flew far away. A light injury. Fang Yuan slightly looked down and saw a long but shallow sword mark on his body. The dragon scales along the sword mark were all cut, some even broke through the dragon's skin, letting out some blood. By contrast, Bai Ningbing was much more miserable. There was a hole in her chest, 3 of her arms were destroyed, and almost half of her body was gone. But she did not bleed. Cold air flowed on massively, restoring her back to normal in a blink of an eye. Bai Shang, this immortal killer move is rumored to be undying. Even if there is only a nail-sized fragment remaining, the user can immediately revive and recover back to normal. Because after the Bai Shang transformation, the body is no longer a flesh and blood body, instead it becomes a certain mystical life form. Ying Wuxie was inwardly excited. Sure enough, as the battle went on, Bai Ningbing's performance was like Ying Wuxie estimated. She was not Fang Yuan's match. But relying on the Bai Shang transformation's special characteristics, she could immediately recover back to normal. Most of Fang Yuan's attention was absorbed in fighting with Bai Ningbing. As the battle continued, even Fang Yuan felt exhausted. After all, his was a flesh and blood body, while Bai Ningbing was still energetic and lively. Just as Fang Yuan intended to give up on Bai Ningbing and target Ying Wuxie and the rest. It is time, Ying Wuxie suddenly cried out. Auras of countless GU worms rose from his body. He looked at Fang Yuan and spoke. Lead soul into dream. Chapter 1260. Lead soul into dream. Fang Yuan got a shock when he heard Ying Wuxie say, lead soul into dream. Lead soul into dream was a rare and powerful dream path immortal killer move. In the Battle of Yitian Mountain, Ying Wuxie's lead soul into dream had made even heaven overseeing Tower Lord fall asleep, trapped within a dream realm. Fang Yuan was also struck by this move in the Battle of Yitian Mountain. If not for heaven's will working secretly, he would have surely died. In this current time period, Dream Path Immortal GU were extremely rare, let alone Dream Path killer moves. One skill to dominate all, facing Lead Soul into Dream, GU Immortals were basically defenseless. Fang Yuan was not an exception. He had Unravel Dream, but he also had the Sovereign Immortal Body. Facing Lead Soul into Dream, even if he spent only an instant in the Dream Realm, it was very likely there could be various changes during that instant, and he might even die. Fang Yuan immediately soared up, retreating without hesitation. While retreating, he had doubts in his mind. Back then, Ying Wuxie's lead soul into dream was very powerful because of many immortal GU as well as the amplification from the 11th extreme physique. Right now, could Ying Wuxie have those immortal GU to form lead soul into dream? Fang Yuan did not know the exact details, but he was aware that Ying Wuxie's strength path immortal zombie body absolutely lowered the power of this move by several levels. Fang Yuan quickly got a long distance away from Ying Wuxie and the rest, but still did not see himself falling into a dream realm. Was Ying Wuxie only trying to trick me? Fang Yuan just had this thought, when the scenery in front of him changed. Southern border, in his first life. Qingmao Mountain was already destroyed from Bai Ningbing's self-detonation. Fang Yuan threw himself in with a merchant caravan, earning primeval stones while continuing his cultivation. The merchant caravan had reached a certain valley, when suddenly, 2 groups of bandits rushed from in front and behind. Kill, protect the goods. The caravan was in a great uproar. In an instant, yells resounded throughout the valley. One side was the demonic path bandits, while the other was the caravan escorting the goods. The young Fang Yuan was mixed in the merchant caravan, clenching his teeth, panicking at the sudden ambush. This is a dream realm. I am trapped in a dream realm. The confusion from just entering the dream realm disappeared quickly, and Fang Yuan immediately prepared to activate Unravel Dream. However, right at this time, he inexplicably exited the dream realm and returned to reality, his ancient dragon body still in the regional wall. What's going on? Fang Yuan just had this question, when his vision changed once again. he found he had once again entered a dream realm. This dream was a continuation of the previous dream. In the valley, the righteous and demonic sides were fighting a bitter battle. Strange, there should not be any bandit hideouts here. The young master of the merchant caravan was looking down from his carriage in the center, puzzled. The steward beside him was maintaining defense while replying, "Right, this trade route is an old route, who knows where these mountain bandits came from?" The young master snorted. "The strongest demonic path GU masters among them are only rank 2, our defense is rock solid, we don't need to fear them." Young master is right, we will make sure these bandits remain here forever. The steward gave a malicious smile. Right at this time, a rumbling noise came from above them. The young master, the steward and others quickly looked above. The sight immediately caused a great fright. Countless boulders were rolling down from above the valley. The caravan was right at the base of a cliff, and these giant boulders were falling down right towards them. The power was not inferior to a rank 2 GU master's attack. Countless figures could be seen above the cliff. They were all mortals, but with meticulous planning and correct battle tactics, these mortals showcased the battle strength of rank 2 GU masters. "Quick, retreat!" The young master's face was pale. "It is too late," the steward called out miserably. The boulders smashed onto the caravan's GU masters. In an instant, the merchant caravan suffered many casualties, and the demonic path side's morale was greatly raised. "Damn it!" Fang Yuan shook his head fiercely, escaping from the dream realm again. "This is indeed lead soul into dream, but it is incomplete. It can send me into a dream realm now and again, but it can't keep me trapped in there. However, this is enough to pose a huge threat to me." Fang Yuan's heart sank. Ying Wuxie and the rest were vigilantly looking at their surroundings, but even after guarding for a while, they did not see Fang Yuan. There were also no attacks coming towards them. "He retreated," He Lulan spoke, somewhat disbelievingly. Bai Ningbing gazed at Ying Wuxie. Ying Wuxie heaved a long sigh. "Sigh, such a pity." After the Battle of Yitian Mountain, Ying Wuxie had secretly reconstructed lead soul into dream. During the time in Eastern Sea, Ying Wuxie gave Immortal GU to He Lulan and others, he naturally had even more gains. But even until now, he was only barely able to assemble lead soul into dream. Ying Wuxie had intended to use lead soul into dream when Fang Yuan activated that trump card. However, Fang Yuan did not use that trump card at all. Fang Yuan would need a long time to activate that trump card, which would give Ying Wuxie a very good opportunity to make a move. If Fang Yuan was struck by lead soul into dream at that time, he would be trapped in a dream realm. Even if it was only for an instant, it would still lead to failure in activating the Immortal Killer move. The stronger an Immortal Killer move was, the greater the injury the GU Immortal would have to bear after they fail in activating it. There was no doubt that if Fang Yuan was trapped in the dream realm when he activated that killer move, he would fail and suffer a severe backlash. Ying Wuxie explained it in detail. Bai Ningbing, He Lulan and the rest also felt regret. However, in the situation earlier, Ying Wuxie had no choice but to use lead soul into dream prematurely. If he still did not use it, Fang Yuan's successful attack would result in a qualitative change, causing the battle situation to shift greatly, which would finally result in their deaths. Ying Wuxie had a very sharp and accurate judgment of the situation. "Looks like Fang Yuan won't be able to attack for the moment. We should leave quickly. Lead soul into dream is not complete, its effect will continue to decrease with time." Ying Wuxie gave the command. The 5 immortals set off immediately. However, they had not walked far when Fang Yuan once again recovered and attacked. The dream realm's interference was becoming smaller and smaller. Fang Yuan was not willing to let Ying Wuxie and the others slip away from right under his nose, so he immediately began his chase. Tai Bai Yunsheng was still unconscious. The 4 immortals were harried by Fang Yuan. It was already difficult to move in the regional wall, but with Fang Yuan's interference, it became even more difficult for them to move forward. "Careful!" Suddenly, a familiar voice came from behind Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan could not react in time and only heard a muffled sound as stone debris hit him on the head. "Uncle Big Beard, you saved me, thank you." Fang Yuan saw Uncle Big Beard nearby, and immediately reacted. Just now, he was almost hit by a falling boulder, but Uncle Big Beard had acted in time, destroying the giant boulder before it could reach Fang Yuan. "Kid, don't be so hungry for battle, protect yourself properly," Uncle Big Beard said with a concerned tone. Right at this moment, from the center of the caravan came the caravan steward's sharp scream, "Men, come quickly and protect young master." Out of nowhere, 2 rank 3 demonic path GU masters had already charged into the center and were surrounding the owner of the merchant caravan, that young master who had once humiliated Fang Yuan. The young master was in a dangerous situation, even the righteous path GU masters were afraid. Wait here, I will go help. Uncle Big Beard spoke this before quickly rushing to the center. The dream realm appeared again and again. Feng Yuan was having a tough time. The dream realm greatly influenced him, and he was only able to display 20 to 30% of his battle strength. But looking at the battle situation, it was much more unfavorable to Ying Wuxie and the rest. They were clearly able to sense that the dream realm's influence to Feng Yuan was becoming smaller. And they were still unable to leave the regional wall. All of you go ahead, I will hold him back. At the crucial moment, Xinu stood up. Immortal killer move, land boundary. His whole body emitted frightening cracking sounds, as cracks started appearing everywhere on his body. At the same time, with him at the center, an enormous surrounding area of space underwent a mysterious change, being cut off from the space further out. Feng Yuan wanted to retreat, but at the critical moment, the dream realm started, making him miss the chance to escape the range of the killer move. Feng Yuan sent out dragon breath, but the sword-light dragon breath disappeared like smoke before even flying 5 to 6 steps of distance. Feng Yuan charged with his dragon body, but was actually unable to leave.